91. Seed Dragon. A cruelest territory. Please subscribe. Please customize. Naval Headquarters, Marineford. Marine Admiral Office. All the surviving officers who participated in the encirclement and suppression of the Rock's pirate group, as well as all the high-level leaders behind the scenes of the headquarters, gathered together. This meeting was held after waiting for a group of high-level soldiers to recover from their injuries for a period of time. In the office, everyone looked gloomy and said nothing. This action is definitely the biggest failure that Marine has swallowed since its establishment, the bitter pill. Marine suffered heavy losses. In the Battle of Rocks, a Phantom Beast user with the strength of Admiral died, Ramos in Basalt form. This ability user was secretly cultivated by Marine, Rock's kill with one hit. In addition, there are 38 Marine Vice Admirals. The proportion of officer deaths has exceeded 1/3 of the total investment, and those low-level Marine soldiers suffered more than tens of thousands of casualties. Although the remaining people survived by chance, almost all suffered serious injuries, and some were even permanently disabled. Countless Marines were smashed to pieces and sank to the bottom of the sea, and even their bodies could not be found. And the group of Marine soldiers who went to intercept the flying pirates suffered even more serious injuries. Zephyr, with the rank of Marine Vice Admiral, had an arm cut off by the great pirate Golden Lion Shiki, and more than a dozen bones were broken all over his body. Even now, Zephyr is still being treated in the hospital. And Garp, who is known as the Madman of East Blue, and Sengoku of North Blue, the resourceful general, were also injured one after another. There were multiple fractures all over the body, and the injury was serious. Marine Admiral Kong even had one eye removed by the captain of the flying pirates Kazan. This result almost sank Marine's confidence to the bottom of the sea. No, Kong had a bandage on his head, covering half of his face, except for one eye. He said with a heavy tone, "After deliberation and discussion, I am here to announce that Marines are suspending their attack on Hakanosu and are prohibited from contacting the Rock's pirates. At the same time, without orders, all Marines cannot take action against the flying pirates. The cause of this war is against the Rock's pirates." But the result? But it ended with Kazan's accidental intervention. For Marine, this ending was a big failure. Rocks only exposed 2 whole cards, causing Marine to lose a secret admiral who has not yet obtained a military rank. In Rox's pirate group, except for tens of thousands of dead pirates, no cadres were captured. Not to mention the flying pirates. Even Marine Admiral Kong, desperate for a chance to kill with one blow, hit Kazan with his fist, but failed. This action not only broke off an arm of Zephyr, who is known as the future of Marine, but Kong also permanently killed a keep your eyes on the battlefield. Not to mention that another future core figure of Marine, Crane, is also in doubt. But obviously, Crane Marine has given up. Not even a thought of rescue. With this big defeat, Marine's face was seriously damaged. It has suddenly become the talking and laughing capital of all the pirates on the sea. Almost all towns and pirate taverns talk about Marine's embarrassing escape every day. As a member country of Mariewa, it is natural to maintain Marine. But the most indispensable thing in this world is a country without gold in the sky. On the borders of these countries, pirates? Marine? Who is righteous and who is evil? Sorry, but in the eyes of the people of non-affiliated countries, there is almost no difference between the two. Marine didn't exist to protect them. Whether they die or not has nothing to do with them. The reputation of the flying pirates has been unprecedentedly high with Kazan's comeback. Even suppressed the Rock's pirates. On Marine's side, within a few years, the depleted vitality could not be recovered at all. If it goes any further, Marine may fall completely. Sengoku Garp, with a bandage on his head, was silent in the audience. But they are already secretly ruthless in their hearts, and the next time, they must practice hard, and next time, they must regain their lost faith and confidence in Kazan and Rocks. It's still the kind that pays interest. Kong continued, in addition, the danger level of Kazan and Shiki is increased, and the overall bounty of the flying pirates is increased. The threat level of these two bastards will definitely not be lower than that of Luke's in the future. Kazan, a great pirate with bottomless strength and complete resourcefulness. Strictly speaking, his appearance is the key factor in the failure of Marine's preparation for the war. Because Marine's information has been updated. It was Kazan who took the initiative to go to Hakanosu with the flying pirates, found Rocks and fought a battle. Although the result ended in a draw, Kazan led the pirates to ransack Rock's Skull Rock lair under the watchful eyes of the Rock's pirates. The significance of this shows that the two are closely related. There are even shady deals. This, just the first thing Kazan came back to do after 15 years of disappearance. In the past, many Marine executives thought that Kazan was just riding the trend of the times and possessing the strange devil fruit ability, so he was famous and hard to deal with. Now it seems that this guy's strength is probably far from exposed. Kong looked serious. In his heart, there are already two figures overlapping. Perhaps Kazan is the second Rocksteed Zebek who hides extremely deeply. End of the meeting. Kong leaves Sengoku in the office. In the air, the scene was suddenly silent. Kong took out a wooden box from the drawer and opened it on the table. A black devil fruit with a spiral pattern appeared in front of the two of them. Sengoku, send this to Zephyr. We Marine can't let this Titan's career end. Even if he doesn't want to, he must watch and eat it. This is the only way Marine currently has to allow him to connect his severed limbs. Kong had a serious expression and kept admonishing him. Sengoku took the wooden box and was silent for a long time. Finally, he went to the hospital. 3 months passed. New World watched the sea. A small sailboat, sailing at 1,000-meter altitude. This is Kazan's sailboat, and he, Shiki, and others split into 2 groups in the X-Difficult branch. Shiki leads a large force to the Kingdom of Bridges in East Blue. As for Kazan, because Edward Newgate told him about the origin of Paramecia shock fruit, this devil fruit, one of the 3 disasters, was found in the Watching Sea. Kazan intends to come and have a look. When Shiki and others arrive at East Blue, regardless of whether they find it or not, Kazan will go to join them through the door fruit. Molly, a Titan, sits upright, and his huge figure occupies almost the entire deck. Boss Governor, the island ahead is very strange. Is it that one? Hearing this, Tianing took a look. What I saw in front of me was a 5-pointed star-shaped island. From a high altitude, it looked like a starfish lying on the sea. Possibly. Kazan nodded. My Fong fruit was found on a strange square island. The 5-pointed star island in front of me is not in the shape of an ordinary island, and it is indeed very strange. Immediately, under Kazan's operation, a violent storm blew up on the island. Sea spouts also writhed and writhed across the island. After the violent climate lasted for a full hour, the soil on the island was completely washed by the violent wind and rain. The real face is bare. It is just like the flat land cut by a knife, the same gray and white material. And in the center of the flat 5-pointed star island, there are 10 pieces of Black's historical text. Kazan landed on the ground and saw that strange text again, but still couldn't understand it. But he finally verified his guess. That's right, the place where the black text exists is very likely to be the birthplace of the 3 disasters devil fruit. The 3 disasters devil fruit and the black text have a similar relationship. Without thinking too much, I immediately put the black text into the space. At this time, Kazan's phone bug also rang. Blue, blue, blue. Brother, we have arrived at the Kingdom of Bridges. Gone soon. After the phone call, Kazan immediately called Molly's door fruit, which has left door coordinates on the Nuxus all the year round. Soon, a transparent door opened on the 5-pointed star island. With the entry of Kazan and Molly. Come out, the 2 of them have arrived at East Blue, the deck of the Noose. The governor is back. The deck cheered immediately. Kazan is the idol of the whole group, the object of admiration of the whole group. I haven't seen you for 3 months. I miss you so much. Amazon Lily's female warrior is already smiling. Shiki came to the side. Brother, the Kingdom of Bridges is ahead. I never thought that such a ghostly place really exists in the world, and this environment is even more hellish than Nuxus. It's no wonder that Shiki has little knowledge. Ordinary people really can't imagine. The Kingdom of Bridges does not actually refer to a kingdom. It is the general term for several kingdoms connected by cross-sea bridges. Mariewa began to build a huge bridge in East Blue more than 700 years ago to connect the various islands. Times have changed for several generations, but the bridge has not yet been completed. The labor and financial resources invested in it can only be described as sky-high prices. Celestial dragons can grab slaves to do coolies at any time. People kept falling down, and people kept pouring in. But people live and work to eat. Slave labor can be free, but food must be provided. The food consumption of tens of thousands of people every day is already sky-high, not to mention the need for elite manpower management. plus the material consumption of the bridge itself. No one could afford the project except Mariewa. No. The place where the news west came is a sea area called Tequila Wolf. Kazan stood at the bow looking down. The sea-crossing bridge is like a giant dragon, admiring the blue sea. And the front end of the bridge is still under construction. In the exposed places, various steel frame structures are built, and there are various transportation tools made of ropes. Inside the bridge, densely packed workers are filling the frame with cold stones. The sound of whipping and the wailing of slaves could be heard from time to time. On the sea, several huge warships about 80 meters long passed under the bridge and patrolled. A warship of this size is considered a big guy in marine. But compared with the piers of the cross-sea bridge, it is only 1/10 the size. The piers with a width of 700 to 800 meters are really like giants. This kind of building can only be imagined in migrant workers. And the height of the cross-sea bridge is like a small red tin continent, huge and long. It is enough to see what a huge project this is. It's here, let's go down, Kazan said. After receiving the captain's order, the members of the pirate group made their own preparations. Nuxus, settle slowly, and the other side of the deck. After several months of adaptation, Crane has initially become familiar with the rhythm of captivity on the Nuxus, but Crane still doesn't understand. Kazan arrested her, except for being trapped in this pirate ship. In other respects, it is free. What is the purpose of Kazan? The Crane can't figure it out at all. Time is the best killing agent. Slowly, Crane often comes to the deck to let the wind out. She likes the high-altitude scenery, the sea of clouds that can be touched at hand, and the clear sunrise and sunset. Even boats can fly with flocks of wild geese. The feeling of sailing is, honestly, wonderful. Crane has also seen countless banquets of the flying pirates, and the atmosphere is really good. Yes, the flying pirates are good everywhere. The only bad thing is that they are all vicious pirates. Therefore, although the Crane was on the boat, it never said a word. While she was ignored by the entire ship, she ignores everyone too. No. Seeing the flying pirates coming to East Blue, Crane was also very curious. Standing in a corner with no one around, he was also looking at the bottom carefully. Dio, you want supplies? Pity. The shackles on the feet could not be opened at all. Even if the land was close at hand, the Crane did not dare to take a step forward. Slowly, as the news gradually landed, the cruelest scene in the world is completely exposed to everyone. 92-092, Hoofprints of Celestial Dragons, the Flying Pirates are here. Please subscribe. Please support. At the same time, the deck of the sea-crossing bridge hundreds of meters wide. All are piled up by chingsher blocks, flat and smooth, like flat land. People who have never seen it will think that this is a square standing on a ground, not a sky bridge over the sea. Compared with the messy construction site, there is also a clean boundary in the distance. There are marine troops stationed there. They need to keep an eye on the labor of the slaves to ensure the progress of the bridge's construction. A parasol of different colors is propped up and lined up in a row, which is very spectacular. Rocking chairs, tables, circles. There are some women in cool clothes beside the table, gently shaking their fans. Some marine officers, the person in charge of Mariewa, were lying on rocking chairs, with their legs resting on the naked back of the kneeling woman, and their leather shoes with black and shiny shoe polish scraped bloodstains on the woman's back. From time to time, someone sent wine and cigars. They seemed to be enjoying it all. My lord, a maid bent down and said with a smile, "Poof." A grape is dropped into the officer's open mouth. It's crooked. It hit your teeth. The marine officer opened one eye and spat the grape meat on the woman's face. 357. Looking at the maid, she was dissatisfied. The maid immediately knelt down in front of the officer. Snapped. The marine officer stretched out his foot and kicked the maid 2 or 3 meters away. Then, with blood dripping from the corner of the maid's mouth, she stepped forward with a smile, arranging the fruits and feeding them again. And also at this time, there were bursts of whipping sounds from the surrounding area. You lowly slave, hurry up. Didn't you eat? Snapped. A group of slave laborers in shackles pushed huge stones forward like a team of ants. They were skinny and bare-chested, with a dragon's claw imprint on their backs and sunburned skin all over their bodies. Some even exposed muscle tissue, dripping with blood, making it very difficult to move. In this state, it is already difficult to live. still being dismissed by the soldiers on one side as working too slowly, constantly greeted with a barbed whip. And every time the whip fell, a blood mist was brought out, and the slaves were beaten to pieces one by one. It's too slow. Going here, the amount of engineering work is not enough today. The IT seems that Mr. Sterigrayer Saint will lead the fleet to cruise here today. The man in the white suit didn't even open his eyes. Open, Yo-Yo said. Today's grapes are a bit sour. The previous Marine officer immediately stood up. He slapped the maid away. Trash. Don't you know that grapes are sour? Here's another serving of iced grapes. Yes, yes, yes. My lord, please calm down. The maid nodded and bowed immediately. Then the Marine officer named Nutlin bowed his head respectfully and approached the ear of the man in the white suit. Softly said, My lord, please wait a moment. I will deal with it right away. Today's task is heavy. The celestial dragons actually had a strange idea and wanted to come over to inspect. If you see that the progress of the project is not enough, then you are in big trouble. Celestial dragons. But the world's privileged nobles who stand above the law. It is a god race above anyone. If they are unhappy, everyone under them will not end well. Even for some marine soldiers, if they accidentally provoke celestial dragons, the lightest punishment is to be marked with a unique heavenly dragon's hoofprint, which is a mark representing becoming a slave. Of course, it's just a bad joke from celestial dragons. How could they make Marine a slave? Looking back, Marine soldiers burn a mark they like on their body, get a tattoo or something, and it will be fine in the past. In this way, Celestial Dragons is happy. Marine also retains her rank and will not become a slave, so everyone is happy. Do you want to have fun with Celestial Dragons adults? Thinking of this, the Marine officer walked up to the former slave with a drop of cold sweat streaming down his forehead. Do you know that this is dragging me down? Despicable slaves. Bang, bang, bang. With a few soldiers holding muskets, aiming at the slaves' foreheads, there was a burst of gunshots. After the slave fell, Chi-Chi was thrown into the sea under the bridge. Puff, come here. Transfer another 20,000 slave laborers out of Ping Ping. Work hard. Today's project volume must satisfy Lord Celestial Dragons. Soon, rows of slaves were released from the centralized cells in the rear. Chi-Chi was escorted to the huge bridge and started a new day of work, and from time to time, the sound of gunshots and falling into the water could be heard. News West. Kazan and others are looking at the situation. Prepare to find a good location to start. Seeing this scene, I couldn't help but twitch my brows a little. Everyone is not maddened by the Virgin Mary, but facing the unarmed common people, Marine killed it for granted. In their eyes, slaves are as humble as ants. It can be trampled to death at will. This kind of fate is really sad. On deck, Redfield retracted reading people's hearts. He read the voices of countless slaves. Redfield originally thought that his childhood experience had tasted enough darkness and filth. But I didn't expect that some people are born to live in endless darkness. When people climb out, it is already the moment of death in life. Death has actually become a kind of relief. Kazan said, Pat, the cruel truth is far more than that. What we encountered is just one of them. Boss, let's do it. Laidfield lowered his eyelids, obviously preparing to kill. Shiki said, Well, not one left. Crane's on the other side. Looking at the scene below, I'm already numb at the moment. Because the Marine officer below, New Line Shinos. Newtel was a Marine student who was in the same class as T that time. Newtel was honest, and in the training camp, he was an image of a good old man. Very good. Crane also has a little impression of him. However, Crane had excellent grades at that time and stayed in naval headquarters to partner with Garp and others. As for Newtel, he was transferred to West Blue. Unexpectedly, the two will meet again more than 10 years later, but it will be in the Kingdom of Bridges in East Blue. And when he saw a new train bowing down to Mary Jo and other officers, but when he stood up, his face changed instantly, and he raged at the slaves, taking human life as nothing at all. Crane felt that his outlook on life had been impacted. Newt Elian is a serious Marine. Up to now, there are numbers inside Marine. Why is he here? How can you take someone's life at will? Just because, are these people slaves of the Celestial Dragons? The pirate world is a slavery society as a whole, and slavery exists almost everywhere. Because of the existence of this system, Celestial Dragons can obtain many conveniences for their authority. Therefore, those in power also try their best to maintain the slavery system and even lead it to become the world's leader to mainstream. As a person who came out of a slavery country, he naturally knew the existence of slaves and their humble status. But now, although there are no groups of slaves, they are being abused. It's okay to beat the slave. Why don't you even spare your life? They did nothing wrong at all. Bang rumble. The Nuxus floated in the air and stopped at the bridgehead where the construction started. The deck height is parallel to the bridge deck. But in front of the huge sea-crossing bridge, a colossal sailing ship like the Nuxus seemed a little underwhelming. Members of the Flying Pirates immediately called in planks to build a bridge, connecting the Nuxus to the cross-sea bridge. All advanced cadres of the pirates can fly. But the other members of the pirate group don't. Whenever they encounter disembarkation, they have to build bridges like other pirate groups. Thump thump. Kazan led the members of the air pirates onto the bridge. A team of 600 people. Standing on the bridge, Chi-Chi looked a little small. The touch came from under the feet. It was a solid, neatly cut blue stone. Each piece is the same size. The feeling of stepping on it is the same as stepping on a flat iron body. Enough to be 1.0, it can be seen that the quality of this bridge has reached such a terrifying specification. I saw Kazan approaching nonchalantly. The slave showed no mood swings, just glanced at it numbly, then continued to work and pushed up the stones, as if to others, the aura of a strong man was nothing and nothing surprising in the eyes of the slaves. There is no disturbance. Who is Kazan? They don't know and have no time to know. They only know that their whole body is in pain and they will die at any moment. There. Nutrien, who was replying to the order, just lowered his head when he suddenly saw a group of black shadows at the bridgehead. What unusual situation. Newlay frowned. Soon a soldier tactfully brought him a telescope. Newtline put his eyes into the binoculars and took a look. The hairs of the whole person stood up immediately, like a rooster with fried hair. Redfield. Shiki. Kazan. No, the air pirates are here. 93-093. Raging Celestial Dragons. Stun CP-0. Subscribe. Air pirates? The pirate group that directly clashed with the Naval Headquarters Army in New World recently. New Line as a Marine. Naturally, I have heard of the names of Kazan et al. Even just a few days ago, he paid special attention to the wanted notice from New World. And issued a few days ago. Air Pirates, Captain Kazan. Head bounty has arrived, 3.040 billion berry. It is the whole sea, the second highest bounty. Compared with the 3.14 billion berry of the Ocean Overlord rocks, it is only 100 million berry less. And the mate, Shiki. The bounty is as high as 2.32 billion berry, is the third bounty in the world. Deputy, Redfield. His bounty is only 30 million berry less than Edward Newgate's 2.02 billion berry. Now Redfield's bounty is as high as 1.99 billion berry, is the fifth in the world. These people, without a doubt, they are the most vicious criminals in the world. I am a little officer of East Blue. What an existence I can't afford to mess with. Not good. Let's run away. It's the Flying Pirates. Newlay said anxiously. Hearing this, the man in the suit of Mariewa, Ron Layton, frowned. Sky Pirates. Ron Layton is a Mariewa officer stationed in the Kingdom of the East Blue Bridge. Naturally, he doesn't pay attention to the affairs of the sea. If he is a Mariewa executive who pays attention to the things that Marine cares about, he will drop his status. The pirates are coming. Come on, bring me those stinky pirates. Ron Ryan's attitude was extremely arrogant. I didn't take Kazan and others seriously. In the realm of East Blue, he is only inferior to those noble celestial dragons. 26 is truly under one person, above 10,000 people. Not to mention a bunch of little East Blue pirates. Even if Marine Admiral came, he wouldn't bring a bird. And saw this scene. New Train's face turned green instantly. Even if you want to die yourself, please don't take me with you. That is the Flying Pirates, the most vicious existence in the entire sea. Back then in Sabaody Island, their deputy captain Shiki dared to shoot the existence of celestial dragons, and now it is the superpower to defeat Marine in New World. Moreover, even Admiral Kong, the headquarter, was gouged out by the captain of the Flying Pirates. What if this is for yourself? It must be skinned. It's over. New Train was completely desperate. As Kazan and the others slowly approached, New Train felt that his legs were trembling, and he could no longer take a step. And at this time, the news came that made New Train even more desperate. Da-da-da. The celestial dragons are coming with great momentum. I saw behind the crowd, a man wearing a glass cover looked extremely conspicuous. Keep a lid on. A face is covered with pockmarks, which looks like a pumpkin. Moreover, beside him, there are also several celestial dragons wearing glass covers. There are 5 celestial dragons in one row. Everyone holds several chains in their hands. However, the end of the chain is not connected to pets like puppies or cats, but human beings crawling on their knees. These people are of different shapes and races, but at this moment, their movements are uniform, and they are all crawling forward with hands and feet. With a flick of the celestial dragon's hands, they climbed faster. Needless to say how hard the stone slabs of the bridge are, the key is that these people are not afraid at all. Even though there was glass shards on the ground, they still crawled forward with numb expressions. These people are the celestial dragons entrenched in East Blue. Under the orders of Mariehua, the Stray family has been stationed in East Blue all year round, supervising the construction of the cross-sea bridge. In fact, it is said to be supervision, but it does not have that ability. They are also here to travel, just to see the progress. Work, someone will do it for them. Starry Grayer Saint came slowly to Nutlin. Looking at the somewhat dazed Marine in front of him, his eyes clearly showed dissatisfaction. He tugged at the chain on his hand. The slave lying on the ground immediately barked at Nutrien. New Train immediately knelt down. Master Greer Saint, the flying pirates are here. Please get out of here immediately. Nutlin cowed out and said. Greer shrugged his nose and was immediately dissatisfied. What are you? Dare to tell me to leave? Kneel here and don't move, trash. Come back and deal with you. Bitch, get down. Greer as T stepped on New Train's head, not paying attention to Marine at all. The Marine in front of him is just a Marine non-commissioned officer. Even the Vice Admiral of the Naval Headquarters, and even the Marine Admiral, are nothing more than watchdogs for the nobles of the Celestial Dragons. Facing the Celestial Dragons, Newtel didn't dare to resist at all, following the Celestial Dragon's strength. The whole body went limp and lay on the bridge. Then, a bunch of dirty footprints of different sizes were left on the Justice Cloak behind him. Yes, Greer Saint led the team to step on him one by one. Lying on the ground, New Train felt extremely desperate. He can't afford to offend celestial dragons. But can he offend the flying pirates over there? That's the one who can wrestle with Marine Admiral. The current situation is neither to leave nor to stay, and New Train feels that he is an outcast in the world. Just some lowly pirates. Greer Saint made a move. 4 masked people suddenly appeared beside him. No one knew how they appeared, only to see that they were all in white suits and red ties. CPO. Nutrien's forehead was dripping with sweat. CPO is an institution directly under the world's noble celestial dragons. IT is known as the strongest shield of celestial dragons and the strongest cipher poel in the world. At the same time, the CPOs brought by Greer Saint all came to East Blue with higher-level missions, in order to maintain the rule of the Bridge Kingdom and make this area run stably. They are all elites among the elites. Anyone who encountered resistance before could be suppressed with one finger. Even if it is an island or a country, these people can be easily wiped out. Lawless trash. How dare you defy the will of the Creator? A CPO appeared out of nowhere and stepped directly on New Train's back. New Train raised his eyes directly. A mouthful of blood was spat on the Qingshi board. Lick clean like a dog. CPI ordered, "This is Lord Greer Street, the way to go back. Do you know, Marine? The blood that I spit on the ground must be licked clean." New Train was full of despair. He opened his mouth full of blood and licked the ground more and more red. Seeing Nutlin's inefficiency, the CPO felt tired and immediately kicked. Nutlin's entire body was bent into a V shape from behind. Apparently, the pillars are broken. The body was then kicked into the sea. The Marines who were maintaining order in the surrounding area suddenly felt their scalps go numb. Nudelian was their immediate boss, but he was killed just like that. The troops directly under the Celestial Dragons were really cruel. He lowered his head repeatedly and took a few steps back. Ha 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 ha. Nice job, but be quicker next time. Greer Saint glanced at the CPO who shot. Under the CPO mask, cold sweat broke out immediately. Master Greer Saint, my subordinates will remember. I promise I won't let you down. And the other side. Kazan naturally also noticed the appearance of celestial dragons. But for this animal like a pig, he is not interested at all. Killing feels like dirty hands. Instead, he learned that there is a family of celestial dragons resident in the Kingdom of Bridges in East Blue, and he is very interested in this. If you want to say who is the richest in this world, it must be the noble celestial dragons. And Steri's family is resident in East Blue, and the ostentation, palace, and other facilities must be properly configured. Under such circumstances, don't they have some treasures in stock? There must be. According to Shaki's information, Mary Ahwa let the Steri family coordinate the construction of the entire East Blue Bridge, which means that Celestial Dragons has a lot of Mary Ahwa resources. Don't snatch the huge wealth sent up, but keep it for raising pigs? Kazan said with a smile. Go and have a look. We probably will post it this time. It's that kind of ghost thing again. Seeing the costumes of the Celestial Dragons opposite, Shiki frowned. At the beginning of 590, he killed the Celestial Dragons and finally attracted several Marine Vice Admirals. For such disgusting people, Shiki feels disgusting when he thinks about them. If he meets them, don't kill them and keep polluting the air. Gee, ha 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 ha. I heard that the Celestial Dragons kill people for fun. But you want them to become clowns to entertain everyone? Shiki stroked his chin, thinking. Duh. As they moved forward, the two groups got closer. On the other side, seeing Kazan and others approaching, Stray Grayer Saint immediately shouted viciously, "Open the chains, slaves, and bite them to death," although Kazan and others are numerous. But celestial dragons never care about this. Marine doesn't always appear in piles. The result is not lined up, kneeling over to lick their shoes. Pat. As the chains were released, the slaves immediately went berserk, using all 4 feet together, and slowly crawled forward with barking mouths. It can be next second. A red sword light flashed. More than a dozen slaves were directly cut in half. Blood scattered on the ground. This kind of creature that has been completely enslaved can no longer be called a human being. The information that Redfield read in their minds was more like a low-intelligence animal after slavery, submissive and accepting the master's orders, even if it is a mountain of swords and a sea of fire. As long as the master opens his mouth, they will all choose to jump. Pain? This feeling has been lost. Life like this is a tragedy. You, untouchables, do you know what you did? Big stink, my big stink. Greer Saint roared furiously, and the glass cover was sprayed dirty with saliva. His slaves, only he himself can kill. Not for anyone else. How dare these people challenge the noblest celestial dragons? Immediately, Steri Grayer's T yelled. As usual, as the celestial dragons get angry, the CPO should decisively understand the mind and take direct action to solve all troubles. But the 4 CPOs at the moment are dumbstruck. 094, Celestial Dragons Treasure House subscribe. No, it's Kazan. The CP organization has already seen the appearance of Gold's figure clearly at this moment, and after learning of the person coming. Immediately, there was a thud-thump retreat in my heart. They are lackeys, not lunatics, let alone fools. Different from those civil servants, the real combat units in the CP organization, they were set up to protect the safety of celestial dragons, and they are naturally familiar with the vicious figures in the sea. And within the CP agency, Kazan's flying pirates have been listed as the most dangerous criminals. It is an existence that everyone must avoid. Kazan. What? Greer Saint asked impatiently with a runny nose. Obviously, Greer's expression was very dissatisfied. He's not only dissatisfied with Kazan's appearance, but also dissatisfied that the CPO does not understand his intentions. When Celestial Dragons is dissatisfied, of course, it is when the CPO takes action. What are these trash doing in a daze? Waste. You are as useless as those untouchables. Greer Holy Fury kept cursing. Escape. The 4 CPOs communicated with each other with their eyes, nodding their heads in confirmation. They knew that the 4 of them were not Kazan's opponents at all, let alone the entire flying pirate group. And Celestial Dragon's Grey Saint is by your side. The current situation, it is too late to explain. They are only allowed to violently take away the celestial dragons. There is no second choice. Otherwise, every second you spend here, you could put the celestial dragons in danger. Take away the celestial dragons violently. Even if there are some bumps and minor injuries, As long as you go back and explain the reason to Mariewa, you will only be punished. But if the celestial dragons' lives are even a little on their hands, it's not a matter of punishment. That is a major event of genocide. When the 4 CPO cadres were about to take away the celestial dragons, a powerful observation hockey has locked all 4 of them together. Still want to run? What are you thinking? Present. Redfield chose to shoot, and the entire bridge deck was instantly enveloped in darkness. Countless vampire bats jumped out of the darkness, biting the faces of the 4 CPOs, as if they were going to drag them into an endless dark cave. Hiss, hiss. Damn it. This is Redfield's phantom beast ability. He's a vampire. All vision is blocked. We must disperse. The 4 CPOs were completely flustered at the moment. Kazan's pirate group, as long as they make a little move, they are the existence they can't afford. Next second, a scarlet blood streaked across, and the bats stopped neighing. And when the darkness subsides in an instant, when the 5 celestial dragons, including Greer Saint, come back to their senses, in front of them, 4 heads with masks of various colors are neatly arranged. What the hell is going on here? You untouchable pirates, how dare you attack my lackeys? Damn untouchables, who allowed it? Greer Shin cursed angrily, and the whole person was furious, bouncing like a ball, kicking away the heads one by one. Several other celestial dragons also looked angry, dancing with hands and feet at the moment. The heavy breathing created a layer of water mist on the glass cover. Then, the celestial dragons collectively pulled out their muskets from their waists. Aim for the masked head rolling in the distance. Bang, bang, bang. After a series of bullets were fired, the bullets shattered the mask of the agent, revealing the faces of the 4 CPOs, and the 4 heads also ate the bullets at the moment, like 4 exploding red watermelons. 1 piece in the east, 1 piece in the west, all over the ground. Your Excellency Greer, my marksmanship has improved again. Bastard riders, who allowed you to shoot before me. I hit 2 this time, huh? My mood is finally better. Several celestial dragons were joking with each other, laughing at the bursting watermelons on the ground. If the 4 CPs know that after their death, their heads have become targets for pleasing the celestial dragons, and they will all die in 10 walks. What kind of dogs are they protecting? It's a real dog. Have to say, celestial dragons are really pig-like creatures. Even though the highest combat power around him was dead, in his mind, they were still arrogant and domineering. Perhaps celestial dragons have not encountered any danger in their life and have degenerated into creatures with low IQ. But at this moment, black thunders flashed past. Boom, boom, boom. Everyone on the bridge fell down, foaming at the mouth. 10 minutes later, the eyelids of the 5 celestial dragons moved. Immediately. Then each of them slowly opened their eyes. Wait, where am I in? The body is so light. It seems to be tied by something. The head is wet and moist. What is it? Is it raining? Where is my hood? Come on, get my hood. Then several piercing pains immediately hit the whole body, which made the thinking of several celestial dragons a little clearer. Before they passed out, they felt that there was a black lightning flashing on the bridge, passed out. But when he woke up, he found that he had been hung up high. They were also strung together by a rope like a stack of arhats. It's a celestial dragon's family after all. Even if it is tied, of course he must be neat and tidy. At the moment, all celestial dragons are hanging from the bridge deck under construction. The most frightening thing was that when Greer Saint looked up, there were 4 other celestial dragons hanging above his head, one after another, dripping blood. And each person's body left a wound, continuously bleeding slowly. Tick, 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 tick. Drop it all on your forehead. The pain came through completely, and Greer Sheng was completely numb, and the stench continued to drip from his crotch. The wicked have their own grind. In terms of torture, Kazan is far more ruthless than celestial dragons. Seeing the celestial dragons clamoring over there, the whole person felt sick to death. Since they want to scream so much, Zhou Chao will let them scream enough. Directly order people to cut celestial dragons into human sticks, and then use the phoenix's blue flame to heal the wounds on their limbs. Let them live well and experience what real fear is. Certainly, first-generation ghosts have the characteristic of preventing wounds from healing, and they are also used by Kazan, especially celestial dragons, which are poor in constitution. They only need 1 wound, which will not only make people feel pain like death, but also make them bleed until the last drop of blood flowing in the body. Then, such a scene appeared on the sea. At the construction site of the Kingdom of the East Blue Bridge, on a steel bar, 5 celestial dragons without limbs were hung in a string with ropes like candied gourds, hanging on the lonely sea, and the sound of wailing spread across the sea, but never bothered. With the sound of wailing, tick-tock, tick-tick, the blood of the 5 people dripped into the sea unstoppably. Hiss! Those Marines who had just woken up found that they were surrounded by the corpses of their bosses, and their expressions were terrified. After seeing the celestial dragons with their limbs chopped off and hung up, this person completely went into a state of numbness. They knelt on the ground one after another, trembling, not daring to raise their heads at all. In front of you is the corpse of Marine's boss. Next to your ears are the non-stop screams of celestial dragons, and in front of you is the most evil pirate group in the world. All the Marines felt their hearts were going to jump out of their bodies at this moment. His expression was distorted with fear. It's over. The officers are all dead. The celestial dragons have become human sticks, and they are still hanging on the sea for display. That's the world's noble celestial dragons. It's such a tragic scene. These people are too terrifying. We are just ants like dust. Please pass us like a fart. And at this time, under MOLE's operation, a transparent door was opened on the bridge, which seemed to lead to another world. Kazan naturally will not let these Marine soldiers go. In fact, in order to guard the tens of thousands of slaves who built the bridge, celestial dragons deployed manpower from various branches of Marine. Over the years, Marine has invested tens of thousands of manpower to maintain order. No. They were all driven from various camps to the cross-sea bridge by the flying pirates. The bridge deck is already densely packed with Marine soldiers. Lousy gives you 2 choices. First, jump from here. Second, move the stone into the door. Shiki's voice fell. The Marines immediately breathed a sigh of relief. At least they still had the option of staying alive. But the cruelty that followed had only just begun. Demolish the cross-sea bridge. There is a gate fruit. One side is connected to the cross-sea bridge, and the other side is connected to the windpipe island, plundering materials. As long as people carry the stone from the bridge to the opposite side of the gate space, it can be reached. Actually, Shiki also has the ability of lion fruit. It is completely possible to float the stone, making the stone as light as swollen cotton, and in the suspended state, people can push and push the stone at will. But when disembarking, Kazan saw Marine holding a whip and directing the slaves to work. Kazan is going to give people a taste of what it's like to be a coolie. Of course, the villain is Shiki, who likes being the villain anyway. Snapped. Kaido swung a whip violently, directly on a Marine. My lord, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I'm going to get up and move. A blood mist erupted from Marine's back immediately. All the shredded meat was brought out, but he still apologized for the mistake just now and said with a smile, I'm sorry. I'll be right away. Hurry up. Haven't you eaten? Your mission is 1 person, 1 day, every day. Can't do it. Jump off the bridge for lousy now. Snapped. Kaido hit Marine again with a whip. Marine is the character who used to wield the whip, but now he is the target of being whipped by the pirates. And like a slave, keep moving stones. Deserves it. Moreover, people like Marine are all thin-skinned and tender-skinned, and when they are whipped, they scream. But Kaido is a phantom beast-capable person. A small matter of waving a whip, waving 100 times, consumes less than him. The recovery of physical strength is fast in seconds. Therefore, the more Marine screams, the more fierce Kaido smokes. Soon, the uniforms in the Marines shattered into pieces, changing from white to red. They are carrying heavy stones one by one, using their own efforts and sweat to contribute to the construction of Bagpipe Island. Terrible, yes. Those slaves seem to accept. In the current situation, many people join the moving team without even thinking about it. Together with Marine, they all began to move stones to the other side of the fruit. Good guy. I didn't make you work. The boss didn't let me hit you slaves. Everyone in Kaido is numb, but the whip in their hands is also very honest, and it only greets Marine. All the slack workload of the slaves will be punished on you Marines. Snap, snap, snap. Seeing this scene on the cross-sea bridge, Zon couldn't help shaking his head. He originally attached great importance to these slaves. After all, Bagpipe Island is building cities and kingdoms, which requires a lot of patience. And these slaves are experienced bridge builders themselves, so they're very good as construction workers. Unexpectedly, in the past, these slaves have completely lost their personality and are like dead things, day after day, year after year, they continue to repeat the bridge-building work. It has reached the point of being indiscriminate. If they can recover during this period of time, they can also be sent to Bagpipe Island as labor and construction workers. If the personality cannot be restored, these people are veritable walking dead. Pat, Kazan said. Redfield said, "What's the matter, boss? Go and find those construction engineers and send all the ones who don't fall to Bagpipe Wong Hao Island." Well, I see. Redfield acted quickly. According to Shaki's intel, these construction engineers were searched by Mariehua from all over the world. They are all construction experts from all over the world. They are now responsible for designing bridges, most of them. He was forced to join the bridge-building project, wasting his architectural talent. If you send it to Bagpipe Island, there are a large number of buildings of various shapes waiting for their design. As for manpower, Kazan doesn't necessarily need these slaves. He is ready to attack the ruins of Shandora on Sky Island, and it is time to awaken the blood power of the people of Shandora. Present. After asking Shaki the location information of the Celestial Dragon's mansion, Kazan went alone. The screen changed. Kazan levitates high, earth coiling. Facing the luxurious palace of celestial dragons on the soles of his feet, Kazan searched for it invisible through the ability of foam fruit. The valuable things on the ground were almost moved. And those guards with combat power have all become dead souls under the knife. Treasures, and the rest are in underground vaults. Naturally, there is no use keeping the mansion of celestial dragons, so it can be destroyed directly. Boom, boom. At this moment, the ground swelled and swelled one after another. Celestial dragons, a servant, ran out one after another, looked around, rolled around in the yard with a panicked look, loud for help. As a result, all of them were twisted together by lion fruit's instant fabrication of the beasts in the ground. Who would have thought that a celestial dragon's family that has occupied the kingdom of the East Blue Bridge for 700 years dispatched all the celestial dragon's nobles in East Blue, and in just a quarter of an hour with their attendants? Slaves, Chi-Chi's sleeping underground forever. And at this moment, the door to the celestial dragon's treasure house has been opened by earth coiling. Looking at the dense red dots on the treasure hunting radar in my mind, Kazan floated down expressionless. 95-095, God's Valley Pointer, Crane wails and weeps. After Kazan came to the underground passage, he found that there were still people hiding here for refuge. Get rid of it immediately. Finally, he pushed open a door and laid with a golden lion's head. Clatter. Lion head, golden mine. Without even thinking about it, Kazan immediately put it in the storage space. After entering the treasure house of the celestial dragon stray family, Izan really entered the surprise. Looking around, the ground is full of huge treasure chests, and each treasure chest also has a seal on it. Mariewalk grant time XXXX. Use bridge building. Kazan tore the seal and opened the treasure chests one by one, which were full of gold bars and various rare gems. See, so much treasure. Having seen the gold of Sky Island, he couldn't help but take a deep breath. Visual inspection. In the huge treasury of the Stray family, there is at least 36 billion berries money. This amount is more than 3 times the gold of Sky Island. And if some specific value of the treasure is added, the value will probably exceed 40 billion. Kazan is rich though, but he also needs money very much. The reason why he wants to launch the huge floating island is to build a kingdom-like ecology on it, not just a place for pirates to live. Now there are fruits of the door and floating islands that can be used at any time. Floating, sinking, and lion fruit. Kazan can completely turn a certain part of the floating island into an entertainment city like the Golden City and become a super giant wandering in the sea, swallowing money, and money begets money. Anyway, both Shiki and Redfield like to play spinach-type entertainment. Let them manage, let them be city lords. How cool it is for Kazan to be a hands-off shopkeeper. The Kingdom of Bohemia, where Stussy is located, also pays attention to scientific research and can also absorb new scientists to build a future city with a theme of science and technology. You can even transport some historical relics to your own island through lion fruit and then slightly transform them through the island fruit so that some relics can be perfectly integrated into a part of the island and become a capital city that gathers history. In short, if Kazan wants to arrange all this, he needs Starfish's money. And without a doubt, the Starry Celestial Dragon's family built bridges from Mariehua, with considerable financial support from the world government. Massive pockets. The bridges that have been built with money are being demolished by the flying pirates. With so many stones, marine soldiers have to move them for several months. Satisfied, Kazan emptied the treasury. But there is only the last treasure chest left. The red dots on the treasure hunting radar are all from 373 in this treasure chest. Open the treasure chest immediately. What catches the eye are 3 devil fruits of different colors. In addition, there is a permanent pointer made of gold. Ding! You have come into contact with important objects in the plot, the Valley of the Gods, and the Eternal Pointer. Experience plus 10 million. Fortune value plus 15 points. The current total is 50 points. The Eternal Pointer of the Valley of the Gods. Kazan has already learned that the Valley of the Gods belongs to the hidden map of the pirate world. Outsiders cannot determine the location of the Valley of the Gods. The Valley of the Gods is like the Raftel of later generations. Both are islands and legendary. Ordinary people can't find it. Unexpectedly, at this moment, I actually got the permanent pointer of the Valley of Gods. Kazan originally planned to use Roxy Zebek to appear in the Valley of the Gods. Now it seems that it is not necessary to take the initiative to plan, but Kazan can understand it when he thinks about it. The Stray family is the descendant of the Orthodox 20 Kingdoms. For them, the Valley of the Gods is like a tribal land. It is not uncommon for the treasury to have a permanent pointer to the Valley of the Gods. Step by step, Kazan thought for a while and put the permanent pointer into the space. Ding! You have come into contact with the secret treasure of the sea, the anaconda snake fruit. Ding! You have come into contact with the secret treasure of the sea, snake fruit, cobra form. Ding! You have come into contact with the secret treasure of the sea, paramecia sweet fruit. Experience plus 12 million. Fortune value plus 50 points. The current total is 100 points. Okay. Unexpectedly, the fruits of the 3 Boya sisters have been collected. Kazan also frowned. He wanted to create an ultimate phantom beast fruit, and these fruits were naturally excluded. But paramecia lily fruit can be integrated into the upgraded form. Although the power fruit has a single ability, but the simplest attribute of strength is the most direct addition to phantom beasts. Elemental damage? There is no shortage of phantom beasts. Hockey and strength are the keys to victory. See fortune value is full. Kazan acted immediately. System, feed the paramecia power fruit to the upgraded box to increase the chance of being upgraded. Dang! The fortune value is cleared, triggering a critical strike event. The chance of the upgraded box to absorb Devil Fruit's ability is increased to 100%. Devil Fruit upgraded box, plus 30% upgraded chance currently. 40%. The upgraded box increases the ability, Power Fruit. Congratulations, host, for a new reward, Fusion card with Devil Fruit. Host can merge 2 Devil Fruit entries into one. Seeing this, Kazan understood. A Devil Fruit increases the rate of upgraded elements, CGFC, by 30%. Also explain, this upgraded box adds up to 3 abilities. Only 3? You must be careful when feeding Devil Fruit in the future. Only the fruit power that really increases the level of your demons can be used. The addition of the Fruit of Strength is definitely not a loss. Others can lift a mountain. Sorry, I just created one more out of thin air. But the good news is, this time Kazan finally got a Devil Fruit fusion card. When the upgraded Phantom Beast fruit is successfully created, it will be the moment for the awakening of the divine grade Phantom Beast. After finishing everything, Tianzan returned to the Nuxus satisfied. At the same time, Mariehua, king of the Sun's circular palace. 5 male elders gathered together. It's hard to see ultimate. As the pinnacle of power in the world, the 5 elders should have hidden their emotions. But Naiha really couldn't hold back. News of the Kingdom of the East Blue Bridge has reached Mariehua, and even Lord M is furious. In front of the 5 of them is Kong, who is completely at a loss. Marine's big defeat in New World has made the 5 elders angry. And now there's another devastating news coming from East Blue. The celestial dragons of the Starry family in the Kingdom of the Bridge have been wiped out by the flying pirates led by Kazan. That's right, not a single member of the entire family was left alive. A total of 15 celestial dragons were dispatched by the Stray family in the Kingdom of the Bridge, all of which were cut off. For Mariehua, it is undoubtedly the face that has been drawn into a pig's head. Marine was defeated and the celestial dragons were killed. The construction of the cross-sea bridge was forced to suspend. Things happened one after another, and the smashed five elders were dizzy. And it's all done by the flying pirates. Celestial dragons were hung on the sea-crossing bridge and have become 5,000 bottles. What are you eating? The bald five elders, who was holding an unknown famous knife in his hand, pointed at the incoming intelligence screen and was furious at Kong. He's given Kong many chances. First, in the Wanakuni Sea area, Garp and Sengoku were defeated, and Kazan, who snatched his supreme sword, first-generation ghost, and his younger brother Shiki both escaped. The second time, celestial dragons on Sabaody Island was headshot, but no one was caught. But Marineford suffered a devastating blow from pirates. IT took 3 years to rebuild and became a joke in the world. The third time, none of New World, Rocks, and Air pirates were caught, and Marine Admiral came back with only one eye, throwing away Mariwa in Marine's face. And this event in East Blue. How will it end again? 15 celestial dragons were all killed, and the leader was chopped off his limbs, hung on the cross-sea bridge to die in the sun, and became, and no one can afford such a serious incident. That is on the sea-crossing bridge that has been built for more than 700 years. That is the symbol of Mariwa rule. In terms of accountability, Marine should be the first person responsible. If Kong had killed Kazan early, how could so much shit have happened? Angry. The hand of the bald five elders holding the knife was tightly squeezed. Kong felt a chill in his heart. Mad, Kazan was still in New World 3 months ago. Now run to the kingdom of the East Blue Bridge again. Headache, cold sweat. Five elders collectively furious. Shame, shame and shame. That pirate named Kazan must not be left behind. This is an existence that is more detestable than Rocks. You can't keep it for even a day. You Marines are to blame. All of this is caused by you leaving out Kazan. He is more hated than Rocks. Bounty, pull his bounty to #1. Never put it down. The five elders were really furious. The sky is high in East Blue, and the Emperor is far away. Now that people pass by, the day Lily is cold. What power can Marine have? The entire East Blue is no match for the flying pirates. The five elders need a target to vent their inner annihilation. There is no doubt that this person is Kong. Actually, of all the people present, none of them wanted to eradicate a pirate like Kazan, but Kazan came and went without a trace. Thought he was staying in New World, but he ran away to the east again inadvertently. Oh, what a deal. The master who caused trouble like this must try his best to eliminate it as soon as possible. Kong sat in front of the five people and didn't dare to pant loudly. Block the news completely and prevent the identity of the creator from being slandered like a catastrophe again. This matter is related to Mariwa credibility. Also, it's time for Marines to recruit more troops. We must form a combat force that can crush pirates. Otherwise, Marines don't need to exist. The five elders were heartbroken and even made suggestions in person. It is enough to show how much the five people hate Kazan. Kong was scolded like hell, but he couldn't find any reason to refute. For the rest of the time, Kong bit the bullet and was scolded by the five elders one after another for an hour. This gunpowder-flavored meeting has just come to an end. Kong walked weakly on the street of Mariwa with a distraught expression on his face, and he was paying respects to the 18 generations of ancestors of the celestial dragons who were leading slaves around them. If only there were no stupid pigs like celestial dragons in the world. Marine doesn't have so many messes. Damn, why did I have such an idea? I wanted to jump off the red line. On the other side, time passed again. At this time, the building materials needed for Bagpipe Island have been prepared. Tens of thousands of Marines are exhausted. Is it finally over? Torture like hell. Fortunately, there are stupid slaves rushing to work. The Marine soldiers gritted their teeth. The stones on their shoulders made them want to cry. The air pirates are evil slave owners who force Marine soldiers to work hard. During this period, Marine carried stones every day, slept no more than 3 hours a day, ate swill-like food scraps, and drank rainwater prepared by Kazan. Every Marine was tortured so badly that Kaido whipped his back into twists. Fortunately, dozens of kilometers of cross-sea bridges were demolished, and the stone materials were finally cleared up. Have to say, Marine would also like to thank those numb slaves. If it weren't for the slavishness engraved in their bones, they would scramble to work. This Marine really can't move all these stones. Ah, finally saved. The accident happened again. The person who collapsed this time is Crane. During this period of time, Crane has seen too much cruelty, and his values have been hit hard every day. Thousands of slaves. Every day is like a walking dead, with a numb look and no meaning of life. Can such a person really not be saved? Nuxus deck. Crane cried and begged, Kazan, please, let me cleanse the hearts of those slaves. When I'm done, I'll put my shackles back on. Crane is a person with the ability to cleanse fruits, can cleanse other people's hearts, wash away sin, and at the same time, also have the opportunity to wash away slavery. So she really wants to help these lost souls, let them find the value of living. Of course, Kazan agreed to Crane's request. The reason could not be simpler. Anyway, with this little ability of the Crane, he would definitely not be able to run away. At the same time, Bagpipe Island is about to be put into construction. If these slaves really return to normal people, as long as they are recruited, it will be a considerable labor force. Has no reason to refuse. Present. The figure the Crane shuttles back and forth on the cross-sea bridge. Short time. The bridge has become a green clothes pole. Tens of thousands of slaves, under the operation of the Crane, turned into thin sheets like clothes. Soap bubbles flashed all over the body, swaying with the wind. With the body of the slave as the outer garment, drained the water. Finally, the sanity of the first slave is restored. And the first thing he does, actually crying, kneeling in front of the Crane. Thank you, Master Pirate. You are really good people. You are not like those Marines. We will remember everything you did. Although the brains of the slaves are numb, their bodies and nerves can still remember that the pirate Kaido never did anything to them, and the pirates are willing to give them fresh food and will not force them to work. Even, they killed the celestial dragons and punished the world's biggest disaster maker. All of this, the slaves actually saw it in their eyes, and at the same time, it was preserved like the information engraved in the genes. With waking up, memories flooded in like a flood. The slaves cried one after another, as if they were recreated by the flying pirates. Hearing this, he was completely dumbfounded. Wait, I am Marine. Your rescuer is Vice Admiral of Naval Headquarters, Crane. And every word the slaves said didn't say Marine. They all sincerely praised the pirates. It's like slapping Crane's face all the time. In the eyes of slaves, is Marine even inferior to pirates? Sorry, in Bridge Kingdom, yes. True. It was Mariewa's men who captured the slaves, and it was Marine who killed the slaves. In the eyes of slaves, they are the most sinful people in the world. When all the slaves regained their sanity, their personalities awakened. The slaves looked at the Marine soldiers and suddenly became disgusted. All the oppression they had suffered in the past erupted collectively at this moment, like a landslide, a tsunami, and a flood breaking a bank. Swat. Bang, bang, bang. At this moment, all kinds of stones were thrown at the exhausted Marine soldiers, and the angry slaves, holding various tools, greeted them. In a short period of time, tens of thousands of Marines were stoned to death by slaves. No, the Crane just stood there, looking at the corpse of Marine all over the place. The blood was about to permeate the whole bridge. Crane's spirit completely collapsed in an instant, howled and passed out. On the other hand, Kazan was also quite speechless. This scene is simply too dramatic. Who would have thought that Crane's cleansing ability could wash away the slave's servility, and she kindly brought the slave back to a normal personality. But the first thing the slave woke up was in front of Crane, the Marine Vice Admiral, killed tens of thousands of East Blue Marine. I have to say, people are a bit cruel sometimes. 96-096. Bagpipe Island is activated. The layout, the golden bell is ringing. Seeking full subscription, please subscribe. Crane Vice Admiral, please help. Saru Vice Admiral, why are you on the side of the pirates? Crane, you turned out to be a Marine traitor. Crane uses the ability repeatedly in a short period of time. At the same time, the bloody scenes and the complaints and slanders of the Marine soldiers directly stimulated Crane's nerves. She didn't know exactly how long she had been in a coma. And when Crane woke up, she found herself on a big soft bed that smelled of fragrance. Her feet were still in shackles, and she kept repeating in her ears those Marines' cries for help, wailing, complain. These words were like nightmares, repeated day and night, even when the Crane was in a coma. Not to mention those bloody images, which kept flashing like movie clips. The moment Crane woke up, he felt weak all over. Tears flowed down uncontrollably. What can the Crane do? She also didn't know that slaves would be so fierce and hate Marine after being cleansed. Washing fruit is to wash away the evil in other people's hearts. After washing, people should become more kind, gentle, and friendly. But Crane completely underestimated the torture the slaves have suffered all these years. East Blue Sea Crossing Bridge is 700 years old. In the past 700 years, in order to ensure the smooth progress of the construction period of the Cross Sea Bridge, Mariewa not only arrested slaves in the world to serve as laborers, but also deterred the residents of the islands through the violence of the CP organization on the islands that the Cross Sea Bridge passed, become slave labor. There is no doubt that the Sea Crossing Bridge is the largest project in the entire world. Because of the long construction period, engineering days, the required labor has already exceeded 100 million people, and the lives of hundreds of millions of people ended at the construction site of the Cross Sea Bridge. Rather than saying that the piers support the weight of the entire bridge, it is better to say that each pier is made of the corpses of slaves. After the slaves were transported to the kingdom of the bridge, their fate was sealed. Sunrise every day is the beginning of their labor. They will be whipped by Marine with a whip all the time, blood soaking every inch of stone bricks, and every night, the breath of the screaming slaves will gradually weaken, and the next day they will no longer can't wake up. From human to slave, the slaves gradually became numb and delirious. Perhaps only numbness can make them calmly face death. In such a situation, the slaves were awakened by the crane, and all kinds of emotions filled their hearts, and the slaves paid the most attention to two emotions. It's love and hatred. There is no doubt that the Grace is naturally the flying pirates. They killed the celestial dragons, punished those cruel marines, and let the slaves eat normal meals. Such a great kindness is enough for the slaves to repay it to the death. And hate? The only one who can suffer is Marine. That's right, when the slaves wake up, it's time for gratitude and reward. Kindness can be repaid slowly, but hatred must be settled quickly. So, tens of thousands of Marines were smashed to death by slaves on the spot. At this time, Crane's expression was bitter. The incident was completely beyond her expectation. Even now, she still doesn't know how to accept this revelation. At this time, a melodious flute sounded in her ears, waiting for the crane to climb tremblingly to the deck of the Nuxus. The scene in front of me. Refresh her cognition again. I see. The island is flying towards the infinite sky ahead through the sea of clouds accompanied by the melodious sound of the flute. Bagpipe Island on the island ground. The environment has changed drastically at this moment. Tens of thousands of slaves have changed the working environment. At the same time, the slaves are smiling and laughing, working happily. Some of them carried stones and built stones. Some drinking clear water, enjoying the shade under the tree. And some construction engineers commanding on the side laid out various architectural design drawings on the table, engaged in intense discussions, and even fought for a point of view. They were giving full play to their architectural talents. Yes, they are planning to join forces to build new huge buildings. The greatest masterpiece ever. What's going on? Crane was at a loss, not knowing what happened. Where is this place? When the crane woke up, it was as if he found himself in another world. She is still on the sailboat, but the Nuxus has stopped in the lake of an island, and as far as the eye can see, there are slaves working all around, but the appearance of the slaves has taken on a new look. On the other side, there are also the flying pirates working together. Crane had too many questions, and she had to ask them clearly, but she found that she was still wearing shackles on her feet. That shackle that explodes off the boat. Crane, faced with this situation, it is somewhat difficult to accept. The world is changing so fast. But Shaki on the other side also noticed the Crane's situation. Shaki asked, "Is she awake? Is it really okay to replace the shackles on her feet with common shackles?" Kazan played with the eternal pointer of the Valley of the Gods in his hand. Laughing, "Do you know the flea effect? In a previous life, biologists throw fleas on the ground at will, and it can jump more than 1 meter high from the ground. But if a cover is placed at a height of 1 meter, the fleas will jump up and hit the cover repeatedly. I can no longer jump more than 1 meter. The reason is simple. They have adjusted how high they jump and adapt to the situation, no longer change. Not only fleas are like this, but people are actually the same. Crane is in the same situation as Flea. The shackles have restrained her for a long time, and her spirit has been severely attacked several times. In order to save her life, Kazan no longer puts her on the oppressive sea stone shackles. However, the crane didn't react for a while. She didn't even dare to leave the Nuxus for half a step. This time the trip to East Blue. This kind of thing was unexpectedly encountered by Kazan. I have to say, very lucky. At the same time, the territory of Bagpipe Island is very large, and construction is a long-term process. The joining of these slaves is undoubtedly a long-term help, just like Shiki. Moreover, the island must also be popular in order to be considered a kingdom. These slaves are also considered the first aborigines on the island. It is also because of the supplement of manpower that the construction of Bagpipe Island has started, and at the same time the entire island has also started. Flying to another destination locked by Kazan. In Kazan's heart, Crane also really did a great thing for the flying pirates. Flea effect? Weird theory. You are such an interesting man. Shaki's eyes were filled with admiration, and he couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Soft spot, rubbing against Kazan's arm. By the way, some news about the Kingdom of the East Blue Bridge has reached Naval Headquarters, IT has said. Because Crane helped the slaves, tens of thousands of Marine soldiers died. Her military registration number has been sealed by Naval Headquarters. According to the situation, if Crane does not take actual actions to express her position, she is likely to be removed from Marine. It's impossible for her to go back to Naval Headquarters easily. Even in the eyes of some Marine executives, she's already a member of the Flying Pirates. This result is a bit cruel. Hearing the news, Kazan couldn't help laughing. Let her go. There won't be any trouble anyway. There have been too many mishaps along the way. Events of the Bridge Kingdom. Undoubtedly the most outrageous. Who would have thought that Crane, who was so sincere to Marine, will be abandoned by Marine's comrades in the Battle of New World, and after arriving in East Blue, just because she saved the hearts of the slaves, she accidentally provoked the slaves to riot, which indirectly caused the slaves to revolt. Thousands of Marines died. In the end, such a result came down. To be honest, it may only be described as unlucky. But what? Anyway, if you leave the crane behind, you will be able to sting Marine. Kazan naturally felt that it didn't matter if he stayed on the boat. How soon are we going to Sky Island? Kazan asked. Shaki estimated, according to the flight speed of Bagpipe Island, it will be 2 months before we arrive at Sky Island. But I am curious, haven't we been to Sky Island before? And now we are going again. I really don't know what you were thinking. This one. Kazan put away the eternal pointer of the Valley of Gods comfortably. We left a golden clock on Sky Island back then, and now it's time to play the role of the golden clock. Besides, there are also a large number of residents on the island. If being able to be included in Bagpipe Island is another big wave of help. Swoga. Hearing this, Shaki blushed and rubbed more vigorously. Now, there are still 5 years left in the Valley of the Gods. In the past 5 years, Kazan didn't have much to do. So naturally, he had to devote a little energy to take care of the floating island. Ask for flowers. Kazan plans to move Bagpipe Island to Sky Island in the park. It would be better to include the residents of Sky Island as well. After all, the Titan Emoku has the island fruit. After so many years of development, Emoku has the ability to blend the two islands together as long as time permits. Kazan, who got the news. The thinking of the Sky Kingdom is completely opened in an instant. He not only wants to build towns on Bagpipe Island. It is even more important to make some characteristic islands a part of Bagpipe Island. Do-la-la-dee, did beep beep. As the island flew, the wind tunnel in Fonle Island made a melodious flute sound. Moving on to the next destination. The first half of the Grand Line. Paradise Sky Island. The battlefield was filled with gunpowder smoke, and the sound of explosions came from the dense forest from time to time. Gunfire, explosions, and clouds sweeping across Sky Island white. Kill. Drive the barbarians from our homeland. This is our territory. It is bestowed by the true God. We must not allow outsiders to touch it. Go, for the Holy Land. Nothing shall be lost to the sanctuary. Drive the barbarians off Sky Island. Accompanied by the sound of charging, some warriors wearing white wings as decoration rushed out from the forest. Some of them are running with knight spears. Some are holding various shells as weapons in their hands. They are the native warriors of Sky Island. 0.0. 400 years ago, Apayado on the Konghai Sea was originally located on the Qinghai Sea, a part of Gaia Island, and was brought to the Bai Sea by a huge soaring current 400 years ago. This island has a land that Sky Islanders have never seen before. At the moment when Apayado was washed up by the soaring ocean current, Seeing the island of the land made all Sky Island people so excited that they went crazy. They immediately regarded Appiato as a sanctuary, which means a gift from the true god. From then on, Appiato was also renamed as Island of the Gods by Sky Island people. In the sky, owning land is equal to $1,000. Sky Island people will never give up. And the opposite of Sky Island warrior. They are the aborigines of Appiato and Island of the Gods. They are Sandia people who originally lived on Gaia Island in Qinghai Sky, inexplicably arrived at a strange swap, and they were also regarded as the intruders of Sky Island. But this was originally their land. But from the sea to the sky. If you change the position, it will be occupied by Sky Island people. In order to regain the homeland and the homeland where the ancestors lived, fulfill the golden promise passed down from generation to generation by the family, ring the golden bell, and complete the agreement with Nolando. The Sandias are constantly attacking Appiato in order to regain their homeland. This battle for islands has been going on for 400 years. The golden bell of our ancestors rang 15 years ago. The holy bell exists in Appiato. Warriors, fight hard. Warriors, for the glory of Shandora. Soldiers, for the glory of our ancestors. Our land, the enemy is only worthy of shedding blood on the earth. For Appiato, dark-skinned Sandias with some Indian characteristics sprang out from the forest and fought with the warrior of Sky Island. They wanted to regain their ancestral land and their own homeland, ring the golden bell again, and contact the blood of the Qinghai family. It's worth saying, 15 years ago, before Kazan and Shiki formed the Air Pirates, just because he was going to build a pirate group in the capital of Seven Waters, he became friends with Shaki and other Amazon Lily female warriors and went to Sky Island together, where he not only got the gold of Sky Island, but also got the thunder fruit of Logia. Out of curiosity, Kazan rang the dusty golden bell. The sound of the golden bell was not only transmitted to the Qinghai Gaia Island below, but also to every corner of the Sky Island. Sandians. Naturally, he also heard the call of the golden bell. How can one be stimulated by the golden bell? Their ancestors have known for generations that the golden bell is in Appiato, but just can't find it. 15 years ago, the bells have confirmed that the golden bell is in Appiato. The Sky Island people have been blocking too. With the ringing of the golden bell that year, all the Sandia people went into a state of rage. In the past 15 years, they kept repeating the impact on Appiato, just to witness the golden bell engraved in their blood with their own eyes. This time, they will charge bravely again. Knife 97, 097. The true God descends. Climb over. All people surrender. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Sky Island, Arpeggiato. Kill, kill. Boom. In the wide jungle, the two camps are fighting. The sound of artillery fire and blasting of wind shells continue to sound. The battle scene became more and more violent, and countless figures were bombarded and flew out backwards. Shouts of killing and screams intertwined one after another. The war gradually moved closer to a tragic direction. Just when the war is about to heat up, a huge change suddenly appeared in the sky. Do-la-la-dee, did beep beep. The melodious flute sound suddenly came from the sky, melodious and melodious, like a movement played by the city in the sky. Warriors of Sky Island and warriors of Sandia can't help but look up one after another. But in this second, they were all completely stunned by the scene in front of them. They even forgot to attack each other, and the weapons in their hands couldn't help but put down. At this moment, the war came to an abrupt end. Everyone couldn't help but look up. The more they looked, the more frightened they became. This voice is, what's this? Looking around, the sky is originally covered by the white cloud layer. But now, the thick white cloud layer was pushed away by a huge black shadow, like a huge ship, pushing away the waves. Slowly, a huge floating island slowly appeared in front of everyone. Only a corner of the island is exposed, but everyone already knows the 987 road, which is bigger than the entire Sky Island. Moreover, the oblique section at the bottom of the island is full of holes of various sizes. The smallest hole is the size of a building, and the darkened side of the hole is mysterious to the ultimate. Moreover, there are countless green winds, like giant dragons, shuttling through the wind tunnel. Drill in from this hole in a while. Drilled out of that hole in a while. Sound. It was also brought out by the wind dragon from the hole. Judging from the vertical plane of this floating sky island, It looks more like a giant cheese full of holes. This is Bagpipe Island where Kazan started. An island. An island that makes music and flies. Sky Island people have been completely dumbfounded. Yes, Sky Islanders have rarely seen land. In their eyes, there is no substance in the world that can compare with land. Even the area of Appayado Island can be regarded as a sanctuary by all Sky Islanders. Everyone thinks it is a gift from the true God. Extraordinary treasure and respect. Result. The floating Sky Island, which can fly and make noise, is at least 100 times larger in land area. How fertile and massive is the soil on this island? For the people of Sky Island, Appayado is already a paradise level, an island of gods, and a sanctuary. What is the Bagpipe Island that appears now? What else can they be called? Island of the gods? The Eternal Isle? The Aborigines of Sky Island raise their heads and open their mouths at the moment, their faces full of disbelief. His eyes widened even more, reluctant to close them for even a microsecond. A miracle. This is a miracle. It is the will of God. It must be the true God who has come to Sky Island. It must be the God who is guiding us. Some people from Sky Island knelt down and continued to worship Bagpipe Island. The white wings on their backs swayed up and down, as if following their owners, showing the most respectful attitude towards a Sky Island. The people of Sky Island swear that they have never seen such a vast land. Like a miracle. And the Sandia was also shocked. The weapons in their hands were involuntarily put down. Dense sweat covered their somewhat brown skin, and the corners of their eyes twitched. They couldn't believe that everything they saw was real. It was incredible. Nervous. Every Sandian is too tense to breathe. Could it be? Is my hometown Appayado ever the same as Sky Island? Is this cheese-like island the hometown that the ancestors said? If so, then the ancestors have manifested themselves. Involuntarily, the Sandia people also made movements towards Bagpipe Island. The battlefield changes rapidly. It was supposed to be a grim war between the Sky Islanders and the Sandians. At this moment, because of the appearance of Bagpipe Island, it has entered an unusually quiet period. Both sides. No desire to fight at all. Both the people of Sky Island and the people of Shandia were shocked by this scene at the same time, and they had completely forgotten the fact that they were going to fight. And also at this moment, Kazan saw the messy, ant-like figure from high above. Immediately used fluttering ability. Gold's figure floated down melodiously from Bagpipe Island. After Kazan landed, he looked at the kneeling crowd. Seeing the scene of war in front of him, Kazan knew that the two groups were fighting again. The war between the Sky Island people and the Sandia people has lasted for hundreds of years. For a piece of land, the fighting between the two sides has never stopped past. It was only later that Enel, the Sky Island Thor Airborne, had the power to absolutely suppress everyone. Let people feel a surge of fear. As a result, Sky Island gained a brief peace. Certainly, for both Sky Island and the Sandia, there is no chance of a large-scale war between the two sides because of the existence of a stronger force. But overall, Enel hasn't done a good job. My lord, you are. My lord, Tao. The leader of Sky Island and the leader of Sandia were nervous at the same time and asked at the same time. The people of Sky Island believe that this is the descending of the true God who once again bestowed land on the people of Sky Island, so they are ecstatic in their hearts. Their Sky Island has been favored by God again, and they are simply children chosen by the sky. The Sandia people thought that they were from Qinghai, their hometown, to help them regain their homeland, or they were here to accept outcasts like themselves and others, and they felt more wronged and wanted to complain. Anyway, people on both sides have their own ideas. Kazan glanced at the leaders of both sides, but didn't recognize any of them. There is a little ghost next to it. It is worth noting. That guy is holding an ordinary knight's spear, and he looks a bit like Gonfer, the later Sky Island god. But Kazan doesn't care about that. Observation Haki, a feature branch, unfolds invisibly to read people's hearts. Soon, Kazan read the minds of everyone. It turned out that in a short period of time, a stranger was worshipped. I didn't do anything. Just because I flew Bagpipe Island over, let them have infinite reverie. Have to say, a random operation by myself can be shocking. Really, I didn't mean to. Kazan is actually here to carry the Shandora ruins. This is just right. Since everyone loves it so much, it seems that the strategy can be changed. Anyway, everyone worships so much, so it's better to let you worship happily. Kazan didn't speak. He just waved his hand in front of everyone. The next moment, the clouds in the sky were completely blown away by the foam fruit, and the sunlight completely fell down. The pupils of everyone's eyes lit up, and the field of vision was expanded countless times. At this moment, the whole picture of the stalwart of Bagpipe Island is displayed in front of all Sky Island people and Sandia people. Miracle! Miracle! Hiss, hiss. Everyone looked at Bagpipe Island eagerly and gasped countless times. This, simply a miracle. Bagpipe Island is huge. Huge beyond everyone's imagination and cognition. They have never seen such a behemoth. And, with just a wave of his arm, this lord can direct the wind and the clouds in the sky. What is wind? What is cloud? They are two of the most common natural phenomena on Sky Island, foam and way. They all have forms, but they cannot be touched. It is beyond the reach of ordinary people. Unexpectedly, the lord in front of him actually mobilized the sacred wind and the sacred cloud. He really is a god. Yep, everyone's first thought, Kazan is a god. No. Seeing the miracle coming, the people of Sky Island and Shandia all bowed their heads respectfully, as if they were waiting for their own, extended family. Now Kazan is in front of everyone again. Just point your finger. Clatter. In the next instant, a green whirlwind flew out of Kazan's cuff, like a giant green python, wandering into the distance until it brushed across the huge vines and climbed to higher clouds. At the same time, the clouds in the sky at the tip of the vines were completely dissipated. No. Which golden giant clock was completely exposed to everyone. Everyone looked from afar. The golden clock against the sun. The golden bell, shining with the brilliance of a giant star, is like the light of the gods and Buddhas who came into the world. The heart of the Sandia people completely entered a state of frenzy. It is the golden holy bell of the ancestors. No one thought that the golden bell would appear completely at this moment. And right on the land of Apayado, it's just huge and empty. But as the vines grow and increase in height, the golden bell is even more sacred. The Shandians bowed down to Kazan, and all of them had tears in their eyes. Their tears are soaked in the homeland. The Sandians until their ancestors were right. Someday, someone will ring the golden bell of the Sandians. As soon as the bell rings, it will connect the power of Shandora's bloodline from all over the world to save the Shandia people. And the person in front of him. He is the savior of the Sandians, the patron saint of the bell. God, will you choose to ring the bell? Everyone in Sandia has doubts in their hearts and has strong expectations. But accidents always follow. Crash la 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 4.0. In an instant, the forest was overwhelmed by a huge blue sky island snake wandering over. Sky Island serpent. Whether it is Sky Island people or Sandia people, they are all very fearful existences. Seeing the Sky Island giant snake, everyone can only run away. That huge figure is invulnerable, and a random flick of its tail is almost like a landslide a crack. That is a super giant that has grown to 200 meters. At this moment, it actually came on a rampage. How is this good? God, return is right in front of me and others. If you run away according to your instinctive reaction now, how will God view yourself? Will you abandon your own people? Can't run. Before God, you must not run away. This is blasphemy. The people from Sky Island and Sandia were kneeling on the ground at this moment. Their legs were already trembling, rubbing against the ground. The pain made their eyes more firm. Even if they closed their eyes, they couldn't just jump away like this. And a loud voice is coming. Hiss. Getting closer and closer, more and more shocking. Kazan here. Feeling the huge creature in the distance, I couldn't help laughing. Isn't this the little Sky Island snake that I could scare with a single command 15 years ago? How come you can touch it once you come to Sky Island? Forget it, let's say hello. At this moment, Kazan, who was in front of everyone, finally spoke for the first time. Stop and crawl over. 98,098. The closest connection comes from the bloodline, the Heaven-Earth link, subscribe. Sky Island serpent, hiss. Brother, don't hit me. I'll crawl over right away. Honestly, the Sky Island snake is going crazy. Why is the figure of gold still in front of me? I just hid in my nest and hibernated for a while. Seeing the good weather today, I came out to look at the spring breeze. I want to have a dental festival, but I saw this gold man again. It was so scary, I was afraid of snakes. Never mind. This snake kneels down for you, okay? Immediately, the Sky Island giant snake meekly swam over. Come to Kazan, docilely widen his mouth and stick out his tongue to make a ladder. It thought, Kazan is going to get someone into its stomach again. Carry those indigestible yellow metals. Since the swallowed yellow metal was moved out of the body, the whole snake became lighter and more comfortable. But it was Kazan's slap that greeted the Sky Island snake. Shut your mouth. Hiss, hiss. Oh, well, this snake will do it right away. On the other side, the people of Sky Island and Shandia are all numb at the moment. What's the situation? In just one sentence, even the giant snake of Sky Island, who is like a god, surrendered. Why can they chat and communicate? And the giant snake of Sky Island is very obedient. Worthy of being a god. And Kazan directly stepped on the head of the Sky Island snake. Go to the vine. You. In the astonished eyes of the crowd again and again, rode the Sky Island giant snake towards Xia. And the shock wasn't just for the people on Sky Island. The same is true for members of the flying pirates on the Nuxus. After all, in the pirate group, many people joined later. They don't have the experience of Sky Island. Naturally, I don't know that there was a story between the Sky Island snake and Kazan. Governor 26 is incredible. He can always do amazing things. This is our captain. Every movement is so low-key and elegant. Amazing. Redfield touched his nose, as expected of the man I admire the most. Jiahaha, Pat, there will be more things like this in the future. But Shiki turned to Molly and said, Molly, open the door on the ground and connect it to Gaia Island. My brother wants to ring the golden bell. A few days ago, Kazan and Shiki chatted about Sky Island's plans. Kazan means to use the door fruit to connect Sky Island and Gaia Island, so that the bell can be heard clearly in every corner of Gaia Island, and let everyone on Gaia Island pass through the door space, clearly see the existence of the golden bell. Of course, this was done to attract the first islanders. After all, Bagpipe Island needs construction. Although there are so many slaves, Bagpipe Island is so huge that it is simply not enough. In a situation like this, Karen is like trying to pick up people from all over the place. The first among them, of course, is Gaia Island, which has a belief in the golden bell. Therefore, Shiki immediately understood what Kazan was going to do. Yes, Boss Admiral. Molly nodded. With the fluctuating ability of the door fruit, the gate opens directly on the News West, which, in turn, connects to the land of Sky Island. Hundreds of people from the flying pirates appeared on the ground along the gate. Then, Molly opened the gate again, connecting Sky Island with Ya Island. At the moment, on the uninhabited beach of Gaia Island, a transparent glass door opened suddenly. If the people of Gaia Island could notice, they would find that, as long as they looked inside the door, they could see a huge golden clock standing impressively on top of the vines. This is what many Gaia people dream of and want to see. Soon, Nuxus. Shaki stays on the deck temporarily because of the thunder fruit. Crane remains silent, just staring blankly at the scene below the boat. But her heart was already shocked beyond measure. Kazan the man. Why? It's easy to convince your heart. Yes, seeing that we don't have any oppression, we can make people feel happy and surrender. Just like the slaves in the Kingdom of the Bridge, Kazan didn't do anything. He just let Marine do the coolie. The slaves didn't care at all. It was their voluntary behavior. Kazan just didn't target the slaves. But just after the slave awakened his personality, he immediately joined the camp of the flying pirates. At the same time, those advanced construction engineers are the same. Kazan just asked someone to call him over and let him willingly build the entire island. What does he have? What's even more frightening is that no matter whether it's those advanced architects or those slaves, during this period of time on Bagpipe Island, there has never been a day of smiling faces. Obviously, they are the ones who were saved. Because of the appearance of Kazan, their lives totally alive. No, Crane had a premonition in his heart. Those Sky Islanders below the Nuxus will soon join Kazan's camp. After all, there was still a piece of Sengoku just now, and the mere appearance of Kazan had already brought the war to a halt. That's the size of a small country. Unexpectedly, just a face-to-face meeting. The people of Sky Island knelt down and surrendered. This man is really cruel and anti-terrorist. Seeing a crane with a surprised face. Shiki laughed. Crane? Huh. Crane looked confused. This is the first time someone from the Flying Pirates talked to him. And it's Shiki, the staff officer next to Kazan. Crane was also momentarily stunned. Shiki said, "When you kneel down in front of Kazan, maybe you will understand the greatness of Kazan." Crane's eyes immediately changed, obviously a little raised, and his expression was very firm. "Impossible. I am a Marine. I can't kneel down to you pirates, especially bad pirates like Kazan. If you want me to kneel, I would rather die." The attitude is very firm. Crane's position is not on the side of Marine. Even if Marine's comrades abandoned her, no matter how much he complained, he never gave up his position. And at this time, Shiki approached suddenly and whispered in Crane's ear, You will fall in love with the feeling of kneeling in front of Kazan. I can assure you, Kazan still has some comments on the Crane. Shiki took it to heart. Since Crane didn't show any sign of staying on the boat, it's time to use some means. Let this woman completely surrender. If it is only used to infuriate Marine, then the effect is too small. As Kazan's pillow, Shiki naturally wants to relieve his worries. Means? Shiki has plenty. It's just that I haven't understood Kazan's thoughts on Crane, so I didn't make a move. Shaki's voice fell. Crane's fine hair stood on end, and he was anxious immediately. How is it possible? That's why you're too far away from Kazan. Shiki left a word quietly. A thunder flashed and disappeared in place. And at this moment, on the deck of the Nuxus, only Crane was left alone. Is the feeling of loneliness. On the other side, above the vines, Kazan has come to the front of the Golden Bell. Shaki's figure emerged. Molly has joined Sky Island and Gaia Island, 2 spaces. Is it time to ring the Golden Bell? There's no hesitation. Kazan laughed. At that moment, Kazan punched the surface of the golden clock with a wind-wrapped punch. There was a shock. The Golden Bell immediately burst into bursts of blaring. Clang, clang, clang. Clang, clang, clang. The sacred sound waves are like Sanskrit sounds, spreading layer by layer. Appiato. The Sandia kneeling on the ground was full of excitement. His heart was surging, tears filled his eyes. Ancestors, that IT is this voice. This is the bell of the Golden Bell. All protection is worthwhile. The Golden Bell has finally been rung in front of our people. The guardian of the Golden Bell has appeared. Bang, bang, bang. The Sandia knelt on the ground, his eyes moistened again. Seeing this scene, the people of Sky Island couldn't be more shocked. Could it be that the sound of the bell is what the Sandians have been looking for? They often said that this was a relic of their ancestors, and the Golden Bell finally rang through the heavens again. Undoubtedly, I saw the pious kneeling of the Sandia people. The people of Sky Island were also moved. My own God, is he looking after the Shandia? Perhaps the war can end. And the Crane on the news was also shocked by the crisp bell. She also understood something in her heart. Kazan is indeed doing amazing things. That kind of soul-shocking experience, which I am a Marine, cannot experience, perhaps because my identity limits me. What is justice? Justice has so many meanings. Inside the Marine, justice has become a faction. It's an attitude, but attitudes are all kinds of weird. Crane is just a middle-level vice admiral, unable to determine the justice in his heart. But at this moment, Crane became more confused. At the same time, Paradise, Shanghai, West Asia Island. It was originally the market of Gaia Island today, and the island is very lively, and the islanders are rushing to the market enthusiastically. But don't want to. Suddenly, a golden bell rang, which turned into hundreds of millions of sound waves, and was transmitted from the distant beach. The bells vibrated layer by layer, and the sound of clang, clang, clang washed the entire island over and over again. People's hearts are washed over and over again. This is the golden bell from 15 years ago. The voice engraved in memory sounded again, and this time it was even more real. It's like a golden bell is ringing right in front of you. The islanders of Gaia Island couldn't help but think of that scene 15 years ago. On that day, the resounding golden bell sounded from the sky to Indy. Everyone was shocked. 213. Then, a sailboat descended from the sky. That's the pirate group that came down from Sky Island. And the person who took the lead, named Kazan. Now Kazan's reputation has resounded all over the world. resounding throughout the Grand Line. Almost everyone knows what happened to Kazan. That's a legendary class pirate. To the people of Gaia Island, pirates are just some strange customers. Gaia Island is not a country, and it is even more impossible to pay money in the sky. There are no marine station around. Therefore, marine is nothing more than a power to the people of Gaia Island. It has nothing to do with myself. But for the people of Gaia Island, the pirate Kazan is the hero who rings the bell and gives hope. It is him that the people of Ria Island know that Shandora exists on Sky Island. It really feels like a dream come true. Only, so many years have passed, countless. The Gaia Islanders have tried to rush into the sky current by sailing boats, but failed again and again, and many people even lost their lives because of this. However, once the sky current appears, the people of Gaia Island will never turn back. Forever up. For what? Just look at that Shandora with your own eyes. Golden Bell. And now the sound of gold sounded again. All the people on Gaia Island couldn't bear the spur of blood any longer, and they all ran towards lawn on the beach. That's where the bells ring. But people stop immediately when they arrive. Looking around, a space door opened on the beach, with the endless sea in the background, like a frame standing on the beach out of thin air. And the scenery inside the door seems to come from another world. And in the world surrounded by doors, a huge golden bell stands on top of a huge vine. In the picture, every movement of the golden clock, a huge sound wave will come out from the door. The sound wave is like the wind, blowing people's hair rippling, and the heart is surging. This time it shocked everyone's hearts. Golden Bell. It's the Golden Bell. I finally saw it. Everyone in Gaia Island was obsessed at this moment. Step. 2 steps. 3 steps. Until the person at the front realized that the door could be stepped in, he immediately shouted excitedly, "Hey, we can go to Shandora!" Roar. All the people filed in. 99,099. Get all the benefits. Rongdao, fully launched. Please subscribe. Hurry up ahead. Don't block me from going to Shandora. Hey, don't squeeze, you guys. When tens of thousands of people from Gaia Island poured into the space of the door fruit, when they reached the exit, the scene in front of them shocked everyone. Look around. In the distance, Sky Island is surrounded by a sea of clouds like white cotton. The strange landscape is something Qinghai people have never seen before. It is enough to shock everyone's eyes and is breathtaking. Nearby are the ruins of the ancient city of Shandora, and the ancient symbols on those buildings undoubtedly prove that all legendaries are true. This is the long-lost ancient city of legendary Tula. Find the city built by your ancestors. Don't mention how excited everyone in Gaia Island is. Every plant and tree makes people linger and forget to return. And except for the view. Most notable are the Sandians and the Sky Islanders. They are gathered together at this moment. Seeing someone coming, they threw their weapons into the grass one after another. After all, it was a mysterious guest summoned by God with magical abilities. Naturally, I dare not neglect. The Gaia Islanders looked at them curiously, and they could clearly tell the difference between the two types of people on Sky Island. The tattoo symbols on the Sandia people's faces were not found on other people's bodies, and these symbols were just handed down from Gaia Island, ancient ornaments. There has always been a rumor on the island of Gaia. Only those elder-level figures with high status can be pierced. It's everywhere now. Seeing the Sandia people, the people of Gaia Island even have a feeling of seeing their ancestors. And when the Sandia people learn that these people who poured in from the gate were the descendants of the old place of Qinghai, immediately, everyone couldn't hold back anymore, and they all hugged their heads and cried. They have wandered the Sky Island for hundreds of years. This is the first time I see my clansmen in Qinghai. Who would have thought? The guardian of the Golden Bell not only rang the Golden Bell, cleansing everyone's hearts, but also used the bell to wake up Shandora's blood, and even has the magical ability to reunite all blood. In fact, what Kazan does today is very simple. Just ring the bell. Just open the door. But the meaning to the Sandia people is undoubtedly greater than the sky. I'm afraid that even with God's blessing, we can't achieve such perfection. That's not what a miracle is. Soon, after a period of familiarity, the entire Shandora ruins became a large-scale recognition site, and all kinds of genealogies were torn apart, and in the Shandora ruins, the Aborigines of Gaia Island gathered everywhere, and at the same time. Every minute, people will look up at Shandora's most legendary item, the Golden Bell. Wait for a full hour to pass. All the tears were shed to calm down the excitement. They all searched for the benefactor who reunited everyone. Seeing that the concentration of people is almost the same, Kazan also started his own recruitment plan. Now he has decided. Letimoka's next goal is to use the fruit of the island to integrate Sky Island into the side of Bagpipe Island, combining the two islands into one, and Appajato becomes a part of Bagpipe Island, a place name, and in the vicinity of Appajato, after rebuilding a city known as Chandora. As for the occupants, naturally, it is composed of Sandia people and Gaia people. Of course, this piece of land is very wide anyway, and there is no shortage of land. The Aborigines of Sky Island can also be arranged here. No. With Kazan showing up with Bagpipe Island, Sky Island has no shortage of land to watch, and they can farm as they please. Anyway, as a ruler, it would be good to have a low tax at that time. The Sandia people also found the Golden Bell of Faith, and even found the Gaia Island people of their own lineage. There is no conflict between the two ethnic groups. Naturally, there will be no more wars. And the reason for absorbing so many people. In fact, the reason is also very simple. The so-called kingdom must have all functions. Sky Island has the special product of Bay and other special products, which can be used as goods for trade and circulation, and eventually form a solid trade system with other places. Mali has the bug ability of the fruit of the door, and the ticket to and from Bagpipe Island is not held by Kazan. For example, the country of Amazon Lily is now Kazan's territory. I want two places thousands of miles apart to have exchange of goods. In fact, it should not be too simple. In the future, the flying pirates will establish more foundations around the world and establish connections with more places and countries. I am afraid that the daily cargo throughput of Bagpipe Island, which is the leading island, will reach a terrifying level, which can be called the world's largest island, center of the world. Isn't the money rushing in? Of course, that is for the future. At present, of course, it is necessary to absorb the population and build up the city, and then slowly form a system. Make everything normal first, and then you are qualified to talk about the future. Kazan has read people's minds by reading people's minds. As long as you open your mouth, no matter if you are from Sandia or Sky Island, you will have a home. After all, he is a man who can perform miracles at will. It should be admired by everyone. So, when Kazan came in front of the crowd, everyone's eyes were full of respect. The residents of Gaia Island immediately recognized that the man in the gold figure in front of him was Kazan, who rang the golden bell for the first time 15 years ago. And now he is the most powerful pirate in the world, with a reward of 3.5 billion 40 million berry, the world's largest bounty. Even Rox, known as the Overlord of the Sea, has 200 million berry less than him, which is 3.34 billion berry. However, everyone is not afraid of this big pirate. Instead, respect him very much because of his kindness. Thank you, sir, for giving us the opportunity to reach Chandora. Your kindness for us Gaia Islanders is like rebuilding. My lord, I am the 10th generation elder of Gaia Island Jax, and I have a blueprint to the ancient city of Chandora in my hand. Please watch it, my lord. Please allow us to contribute to the improvement of the city of Chandora. Make repairs, an old man said. The old man's name was Jax. He is the most respected person in Gaia Island, and the design of Chandora City has been handed down in his family. But he searched and searched all his life. Even if he dived into the bottom of the sea near Gaia Island, he didn't see any trace of the city of Chandora, and the countless times of disappointment he could only choose to give up. The design drawings cannot be confirmed. It can only be regarded as a joke by outsiders. This blueprint naturally became an impossible sustenance for Elder Jax. And now, after actually seeing the remains of Chandora, he has already verified that the city design map is real through comparison. Here is a chance to restore Chandora to its former glory. Elder Jax immediately proposed to let the residents of Gaia Island repair the remains of Chandora. An ancient city plan? Kazan was also curious. After receiving the drawings, they turned out to be some architectural design drawings and urban planning drawings. Ding! It has been detected that you have come into contact with ancient architectural design drawings. An experience value is plus or minus 8 million. Fortune value plus 20 points. The current total fortune is 20 points. Kazan didn't think much and handed over the blueprints to the construction elites of the Forest Kingdom. Then it was highly recognized by the crowd. My lord, with this blueprint, I think it is feasible to replicate this ancient city. Moreover, if the ancient city is restored to its splendor, It will be an architect's lifelong dream. A construction engineer said. Kazan nodded, involuntarily thinking. When the ancient city of Shandora regains its glory, those who know Shandora legendary and have longed for Shandora, what kind of shock will it be when they actually see it? But what? Now that the Shandora ruins have become history, Kazan decided to let him exist as history. It should not continue to be destroyed. Anyway, I removed so many stones from the cross-sea bridge. Isn't it just for building things? Since Shandora is already a relic, it should be properly protected. I plan to designate a piece of land of equal size for you in the surrounding area and rebuild a new Shandora. After the city is built, I will give you a place in this permanent residency on the island. The fruit of the door opens the door at will. No matter where it is, as long as there are coordinates, it can bring people over. It's just like opening the door is a tourist destination. Recruiting a resident is a breeze. Well, now the residents of Gaia Island actually offered to build Shandora, saving even labor costs. I have to say, Kazan was lucky once again. He really got all the benefits. Even as smart as him, I don't know why. Hiss. Elder Jax was overjoyed when he heard this, and the people on Ya Island were even more excited. Unexpectedly, not only can I see the ruins of Shandora, but even the surrounding area. I have the opportunity to live in the city of New Shandora, smell the wind of history blowing from the ruins every day, and bathe in the brilliance of the Golden Bell. For a Gaia Islander, it is definitely the existence of Guangzhou Yaozu. Such beauty really exists in the world. Definitely a gift from God. Kazan thought for a while, and then said, Our Bagpipe Island has no shortage of stone materials. Since you want to build it yourself, we can provide you with stone materials at any time, and we can also provide you with help if you want. However, if you want to obtain permanent residency, you must become a citizen of my Bagpipe Island. Otherwise, you can be temporary tourists. I welcome you any time, Kazan said. After the voice fell, the surrounding people all replied, It's all up to the adults to decide. Whether it is Gaia Island or the Sandia people, they are all very excited at the moment. It is their great honor to be the people of the guardian god of the Golden Bell. They are still figuring out how to speak. Unexpectedly, God is so kind, like a loving father. Today's surprise is enough for them to digest for a lifetime. Tourist. I'm crazy to be a tourist. And the other side. Cranes aboard the nearby Nuxus. Shocked and numb at the moment. Is Kazan in front of me really just a pirate? Tens of thousands of people have been dealt with so easily. They had a war before. Didn't Crane have seen the grand scene of Mariehua before the 20-nation conference? But the lords of those allied countries all looked like pirates, and their eyes were full of hostility. Compared with the purer Sky Island, they were more a pure ruler. Kazan seems to be a born king with the courage to make everyone submit. He didn't even need to spend a single soldier to achieve his goal. Convincing. And at this time, Sky Island is crazy. The Sandians were arranged by God, but we Sky Islanders have not yet. Lord God, you can't be so biased. We, the people of Sky Island, cannot be forgotten. Master God, we Sky Island also hope to receive God's blessing. May God be merciful. Everyone in Sky Island knelt down. The wings on the back are shaking and shaking. It's very cute. Raffles, the leader of Sky Island, respectfully bowed to Kazan. My lord, please become the god of our Sky Island. We will always believe in our lord. Seeing that the Sandia people were blessed by the gods, Zanfusi also wanted to fight for the people of Sky Island. After all, the god in front of him is really not a mortal. On Kazan's side, the conquest of Sky Island is part of the plan anyway, and someone just happened to bring it up. Immediately said, the hatred between the Sandia people and the Sky Island people is all over at this moment. You can cooperate to build Shandora together and enjoy the same treatment. For Kazan's proposal. Neither the Sky Islanders nor the Sandiars have any opinion, and even think this is the best way to deal with it. Really worthy of God. He knows that there is hatred between the people of Sky Island and the people of Shandia, and now he is trying to alleviate the conflict. Let's build together. It's about maintaining the relationship. This is a perfect decision to diffuse hatred. Now that there is God's rule, there will be no disputes on the island at all. Hundreds of years of fighting each other are just for that piece of land. But now the land issue is resolved, and every race gets everything they want. If you continue to struggle, you will be wasting the happiness you have finally obtained. Therefore, the people of Sky Island and Shandia entered into a real peace. After this merger, Kazan's Bagpipe Island is officially on the right track of construction. In the next few years, Sky Island will be completely integrated into a part of Bagpipe Island through the fruit of the island. The 65,000 slaves brought back from the Kingdom of the Bridge have also returned to normal civilian status. Under the command of the architect team, they will give priority to building the castles that Kazan needs. After the construction is completed, it will enter the new city construction. They will, of course, also receive permanent residency. At the same time, these slaves were scavenged by celestial dragons from all over the world. Among them were some business elites and various talents, but they were captured as slaves without the status of nobles. When new cities are built, they still have a chance to make use of their waste heat. As for the new Shandora, with the help of engineers, 30,000 Sky Island Aboriginals, 15,000 Sandias, and 40,000 Gaias were newly recruited. The site is next to the Shandora ruins. As for more details, we will slowly finalize them when we meet them. Anyway, in just a few months, Bagpipe Island has absorbed more than 150,000 residents. As for money, didn't you just rob the Tion Chinda Dragonman's treasury? If there is no money, isn't there another Valley of the Gods? So, the first step in the kingdom at this moment really sets the tone. On track. It is believed that after the city is built, Fonlay Island will enter an outbreak period. That's all. The time came 2 years later. Bagpipe Island, Lake Shore. Today is Big Sister 2's 30th birthday. Big Sister Head, your wish must come true tonight. Kaido finished his morning practice, jumped in the water a few times, and ran towards the meeting place of the pirates. An empty field. Even in the daytime, there were fires everywhere. Longbread began to carefully prepare the birthday cake. A lot of food and wine. There are always people around to help. The whole pirate group enjoyed themselves happily. They are all preparing for Lean Lean's 30th birthday. And the deck of the Nuxus. Crane alone. For the past 2 years, I have been living in the cabin of the Nuxus. Next door or nearby, the female warrior of Amazon Lily lives. Gradually, although no one communicates with each other, they nod their heads and see each other. Everyone acquiesces in this kind of life way. This day, Naval Headquarters, Marineford, the deepest part of the island. A huge situational fortress in the shape of a seagull stands towering. The two big characters of Marine are painted all over the wall. And at the moment Admiral of Headquarters office, Kong Sengoku Garp, Black Arm Zephyr are all there, 5 people. Kong's eye sockets are inlaid with tourist glass beads. At this moment, he rubbed his chin and frowned. Seeing that Sengoku and others had come, he said in a deep voice, "I'm calling you all over here. Just to tell you, I got news from Crane." Sengoku, what? Garp, really? Zephyr, are you sure? It has been 2 years, and the 3 of them have been training hard, and this is the first time they have heard about the Crane. If no one mentions it again, the name Crane will almost be forgotten. 100, Linlin Peak, Crane's Bounty, Rock's chance to make big money, subscribe. There's really news about the Crane. Sengoku and the others were immediately cheered up. Kong obviously hesitated, but this news, what's the matter? We're going to rescue the Crane. Garp raised his fist, stared at Kong, and spoke confidently. I can take this opportunity to take revenge on the flying pirates. Zephyr loosened his arms and smiled grinningly. Good news, bad news? Sengoku was relatively calm and had many questions. Looking at Kong's face, something seems wrong. Since the last battle, the Marine trio suffered the biggest defeat in their lives, and even the entire Naval Headquarters team seemed to have received a severe mental blow and did not recover for a long time. After returning to the headquarters, almost everyone has started crazy training and crazy fighting. Over the past 2 years, each has grown a lot. Strength gives people inflated self-confidence. Let them want to find another chance to break their wrists with the flying pirates. Especially Zephyr. Because of Shiki's severed arm, his personality changed drastically. Today's Zephyr. The Iron Man who ate the Paramecia iron fruit. This fruit was specially found by Kong for Zephyr to eat in order to heal Zephyr's broken arm injury, in order to give Zephyr the ability to regenerate the arm. After eating it, the constitution of the capable person becomes steel and can control iron in any state. The ability is actually similar to that of Teselo's Paramecia golden fruit in Golden City. Only the constituent elements are different. Of course, the development direction of Zephyr is also different. And after Zephyr made the arm with iron, the whole prosthetic limb is made of iron, pure, black, and hard. Because of this accident, Zephyr gets a title like Black Arm, Iron Fist within Marine. Furthermore, Zephyr's previous character liked to torture pirates. After being ravaged crazily, he would impel down people and continue to be punished. Generally, he would not choose to kill them. But now, the fatality rate of Zephyr missions is rising. After mission, the pirates are usually smashed to pieces by Zephyr's Black Fist. There are also pirates in the sea who started calling Zephyr the Black Arm. No way, that guy not only has black hands, but also really black hands. This kind of lethality rate, Kong naturally sees it in his eyes. After all, with the emergence of the big accident of the flying pirates, all the Marines were severely stimulated, and even Kong himself became a little extreme. What's more, as Marine continued to expand its manpower in the world, Naval Headquarters' talents exploded, making up for the loss of the last New World campaign. According to the current efficiency of attracting talents, Naval Headquarters will enter the peak again in 3 years. With more and more combat power, excellence talents are playing a role. Zephyr, Garp, Sengoku, already a candidate for Marine Admiral in the minds of the upper echelons. Marshal will also be approved for the Marine position. Kong looked at the excited trio and hesitated for a moment. Still decided to tell the three about Crane's news after a pause, Sora said bluntly, "Crane is not dead and has regained her youth. She has been staying in the Flying Pirates all the time." Hearing that Crane was fine, the three of Garp immediately breathed a sigh of relief and became even more eager to rescue. The atmosphere in the office gradually became agitated, but Kong quickly poured cold water on them. "I decided to issue a reward order to Crane. The reward amount is 300 million berry." The voice fell. Deathly silence. "Empty Admiral. Did I hear wrong? Crane? 300 million? Bounty?" Hearing this information, Sengoku was a little confused. Hey, that's a Crane. Hey, you guys are right." Garp slapped the table and stood up straight away. Zephyr pinched his brows with iron hands, and the bridge of his nose turned blue. The Crane is the Vice Admiral of Naval Headquarters. How could it be rewarded by Marine's own people? Kong had expected everyone's reaction. Immediately took out a file bag from the drawer and opened it to a stack of photos. After the photos are in the hands of Sengoku and others, it immediately made the three of them look ugly. I saw in a few photos. The familiar figure of Crane appeared. She was wearing the special costume of Amazon Lily and mixed among the members of the Flying Pirates, the dinner scene. In other words, Crane is not treated like a prisoner, more like a member of the Air Pirates. It must be a conspiracy. Even if Crane is with the Flying Pirates, it can't explain anything. Sengoku didn't need to think too much and immediately made a judgment. Yes, just a few photos. Can't explain what the problem is at all. When Marine catches pirates, there is also a chat session. If it is taken out of context, any photo can make a big fuss. Of course. Kong sighed, with a trace of resignation. Of course, I can see that this is a divorce or even a conspiracy, but it has already happened, and the Crane's reward has to be paid. You have been training crazily recently, and the high-level executives deliberately blocked the news. You don't even know about the Flying Pirates and Cranes. 2 years ago, the Flying Pirates raided the Kingdom of Bridges in East Blue and demolished a 41-kilometer cross-sea bridge, bringing the 700-year-old bridge to a standstill. It was not until last month that Mariewa collected enough slaves, back to building. As for the Bridge Kingdom incident, the slaves who entered the party were taken away by the Flying Pirates. Hey, does this have anything to do with Crane? Garp dissatisfied. That's the matter of the Flying Pirates. They took away the slaves of the Celestial Dragons. What has it to do with Crane? What the hell? The Flying Pirates are really coming. It always feels like they are deliberately looking for trouble for Marine. If Kazan knew, a person who can spit out such thoughts is completely bruised. Lousy was looking for Celestial Dragons, and the dog came up with an idea. Almost. Kong continued, but because the Crane used the ability to cleanse the slaves ran away, and 12,100 Marine soldiers were buried in the sea. Even if she is not the main reason, it cannot be separated from her. Moreover, 15 Celestial Dragons died in that blocked event. Did such a big event happen? Sengoku. Kong briefly explained and then continued. Now, not only do I have information on these photos, but Mariewa also has them. The reward was also requested by them. Otherwise, why would the initial amount exceed 300 million? Mariwa will take it out on everyone, Crane included. The last pirate with an initial bounty of over 100 million, Xiaox got 240 million berry. Following Kong's voice fell. The entire Admiral office entered a long period of silence. Marine is a violent organization supported by Mariehua. Of course, the real right to speak is in the hands of Mariehua. Even if it is Kong, he needs to report to the top when he encounters important decisions. But if Mariehua makes a decision, Naval Headquarters will implement it immediately. Even if it is wrong, Marine must resolutely obey Mariehua's order. Damn it! Sengoku left only one sentence and walked directly outside. The decision made by Mariehua is equivalent to an imperial decree. The result of the Crane being offered a bounty has been determined. Marine Forward Corridor. We can't do anything about the Crane. Sengoku turned around and said, Garp, you want to hunt down the Roger pirate? How's the situation going? Huh? Lousy is in a bad mood right now. Garp's expression was obviously displeased, and he casually said, the Roger pirates are just mice. They only know how to hide, and they chase several sea areas without handing over their hands. Hearing this, Sengoku stroked his chin. That guy Roger is not simple. He directly rejected Rock's invitation. In the era when Rocks dominated the sea area of New World, the pirates who survive are already superior. Although the bounty of Roger's pirates was not high, they will become a sea force that cannot be ignored. Coward Roger. Just him. Forget it. Garp waved his hand and walked away angrily. Dong 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 dong. On Bagpipe Island, night began to fall, and Lin's birthday party organized by the Flying Pirates was held as scheduled. Kazan sat by the campfire, his eyes just rolling. All that responded to him were Lin's eager eyes. Hiss. Kazan couldn't help but tremble. Damn. 2 years ago, I gave Lin a hint that she would live in the captain's bedroom when Lin was 30 years old. Today, Lin's body does not seem to have changed much except for the occasional pink glow. Glancing at Stussy next to him, Kazan wondered if Stussy did the wrong DNA test. Lin has no tendency to change the constitution. Is the peak CIA peak period determined to be 30 years old? Shiki couldn't help sniggering. It was the first time she saw Kazan showing an uncomfortable expression. After all, today is the day he's scheduled to pick up the car. Boss. Lin blinked and came in front of Kazan, almost laughing out of the peach blossom bed in his eyes. Tick-tick. Kazan couldn't help the cold sweat. Do you want to wait another 3 years to buy it? At least Lin from the Valley of the Gods is definitely not bad looking. That's it. Boo, boo. After bouncing 3 times on Lin's forehead, Kazan was about to explain to her to wait another 3 years. But Lin immediately excitedly said, 1, 2, 3, start? And also at this time. Perhaps because of the beating, a faint pink halo appeared on Lin's body, and the light became more and more shining. The next moment, Lin began to change. The whole person began to shrink. After the light completely dissipated, everyone was stunned by the scene in front of them. What happened to Lin? Why did Lin suddenly become so beautiful? Is this Lin? I just raised my head and took a sip of the wine. When I lowered my head, Lin's whole person changed. Moo, is it still the big sister's head? Hey, the female college has 18 transformations. Lin has at least 30 transformations. Lin's birthday party is so surprised. All the surrounding members of the Flying Pirates couldn't help but cover their surprised mouths. Lin is finally going to reach the pinnacle of life. No. Lin Pink's long hair is like the waves of the ocean. The originally fat baby-shaped face has shrunk into an oval face at a very fast speed. Anyway, it is from a common person who suddenly becomes an exotic beauty. Lin lowered his head and looked at his slender palm. Hardly gave it a second thought. It doesn't matter whether you are beautiful or not. The important thing is that the boss must fulfill his promise. Without even thinking about it, he asked Kazan, Boss Kazan, 1, 2, 3, start. Doodle. Days passed again. In the past few days, Lin feels that he has achieved the pinnacle of his life. This is not. On Bagpipe Island, Charlotte Lin walks with the wind now. She always holds a mirror in her hand and stretches out her palm to dazzle in front of the mirror from time to time. But at this time, Lin had a gold ring on his hand, which was presented by Kazan. Inside the ring, there was a grain of pure gold, and Lin's time entered a suspended state, and his peak appearance was completely preserved. According to Kazan's evaluation, Lin in the Valley of the Gods is not bad. but it is now several levels higher. Congratulations, Lean Lean's voice is everywhere. At the same time, it is different from the happy atmosphere of the entire Flying Pirates. Crane's face became more and more cold. Also today, as usual, I came to the deck to let the wind out. And on a table, I saw today's latest newspaper. Unlike usual, today's headlines are: Marine Vice Admiral Crane was deprived of his Marine number, lived in Marine, and put a head order with a reward of 300 million berry. Seeing the news, he was completely flustered. Of course, she knew what that meant. The arrest warrants with an initial amount of hundreds of millions are usually issued by Mariewa's top management. In other words, Crane was not only removed from Marine, but also officially regarded as a thorn in the side of Mariewa, a huge threat. Become a globally wanted existence. In a word, there is no place for her in the world anymore. Could it be that Kong, Sengoku, Garp, and FA didn't stop it? Why did they allow the arrest warrant to be issued smoothly? Why? Issued a wanted warrant for former comrades in arms. Why are they? In the pirate world, the identity of the common people is often decided by the nobles of the world. The nobles regard the common people as pariahs, slaves, and pirates. And you only need to post a message to identify other people's identities. Crane's identity is already a pirate. Suddenly, a chill filled his heart, and Crane's brain went blank. She even stopped thinking, subconsciously walked towards the edge of Sky Island. Shiki saw this happening everywhere. Can't help but smile. This is just a scheme led by Shiki, using the black market intelligence network to accidentally disclose some of his filtered information to the CP organization. Shiki knew Kazan well and must have been waiting for an opportunity to make Marine lose face by leaving Crane on board. There has been no action, but the time has not come. Valley of the Gods? A place that Kazan occasionally mentions these days. Could this be where the cranes come into play? ZZ. Just when the crane was about to jump down, the real voice suddenly came. If you jump from a height of 11,000 meters, you will be crushed to pieces. He looked at the sea of clouds surging. Is this important? It's better if you stay with the Flying Pirates. Pirates? Although Crane has been in the Pirates for 2 years, he may have already had a premonition of his fate. According to the strength of the Flying Pirates, it is impossible for Marine to rescue her. Today, Kazan has built a huge palace and a huge city on Bagpipe Island. His nature is completely different from that of ordinary pirates. He is more like the king of an air kingdom, planning everything. In fact, Crane also wants to see the grand scene when this air kingdom was established. But now, the arrest warrant became the last straw that crushed the Crane. Crane feels that he is a dispensable person. Whether it is Marine or the Flying Pirates, there is no place for her. I'm not the same as your pirate group. Your shackles did not explode. Captain Kazan gave you freedom 2 years ago, and the other crew members will not stop you from escaping, but you have not been aware of it for 2 years, Shiki laughed. Crane, Shiki said again. As for what you said are not the same kind of people, it's simpler. As long as you integrate into the Flying Pirates, you will feel different, I promise you. Crane? An hour later, Swan Chi had already left. But Shaki's words were still running in Crane's head. Joining the Air Pirates is easy. First of all, you have to get the captain's approval. To jump or not to jump. Crane was completely numb.